Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Down the Line podcast. Ethan, how are we doing on this fine Saturday?
We're doing great. We're doing great.
It's rivalry week. It's rivalry weekend in baseball.
Yeah, and I've never understood the whole concept behind this rivalry weekend. Personally, I think it's a great idea to have a rivalry weekend.
But
they just do it geographically.
They don't really play actual rivals like against each other.
No.
Like you would think that like one of the most storied and historic
the Yankees not playing the Dodgers and Red Sox suck, but at least it's the Mets. Like at least you have the Subway Series branding.
Yeah.
But I don't know, are the Brewers and Twins really rivals? Are the Reds and Guardians really rivals aside from just being close together?
It's like, oh,
Nationals, Orioles.
These teams both play in the same place, therefore it's rivals. They, like, you would think that you would put, like, the big ones together, like, you know, Dodgers, Giants, Red Sox, Yankees is, like, one of the biggest rivalries in sports. Yeah. Even if it's not, like, as intense as it was 20 years ago.
That's a thing.
Still is one of the most storied rivalries in sports, and they just aren't playing each other on rivalry.
Dodger Giants, you have the, geographic location, and you have the history and rivalry. The Angels, it's like, okay, I mean, other than them being, in California, how is that a rivalry?
Yeah, it's never been that, and, I mean, you can say, oh, they're both the LA teams, but they haven't really been the
technically not even that
Angels
because
of Anaheim for that long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even so, they don't play in LA. I don't know. Rivalry.
The one that I was confused about at first was Padres Mariners, but then I've looked more into it, and I think it's awesome because they have something called the Vetter Cup now. So what that is, it's named after Eddie Vedder, the Pearl Jam frontman, and he is from one of them. Because I know he's from, what's it called? I don't know exactly where he's from. It's one of the two, and then the other is where like his career took off for the most part. I think he's from San Diego, and his career like took off in Seattle. Okay. So it's basically like a whole thing like to win the so-called Vetter Cup that was introduced last year, and the trophy is the coolest thing ever.
Interesting.
I will send you a picture of this. It's literally a guitar.
I don't think I'd ever seen something like that. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, let me see that. Oh, that's tight. I'm not gonna lie, that's tight. That's tight. I ain't never seen that. Yeah. That's crazy. I ain't never seen that.
Yeah, it just started last year, like the actual like officialization of it. Like it was probably one of those things where it's like not an official name, but it was just kind of like like they call different things, like different matchups, different things that aren't really like officially like a cup, that you know what I mean, but they embraced it, and I don't know, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool actually. I really like that.
And that's how you make rivalries. Like that's how you make rivalries that aren't really rivals fun. That one's cool. Rangers Astros, like that's a like I would say yeah. Diamondbacks Rockies, aside from being in the same division, is that just, hey, we have nobody else in the division or the NL to put together, here you go.
Yeah, some of them it's like are the yeah. I mean, honestly, even the Giants and A's, like, before you could say like, it's Battle of the Bay, whatever. But listen, I hope the MLB schedulers, I hope they're sitting down. Because I have some news for them. The A's are not playing in the Bay anymore.
Yeah, and also, for rivalry weekend, I feel like it would be good, because I feel like these matchups are all the exact same from last year.
Yeah.
Why not switch it up? It's not like teams only have one rival. Like, you could have done Yankees-Mets last year, and then this year do, like, Yankees-Dodgers or something, or Yankees-Red Sox, and then, I don't know. Like, you definitely could have done it better. Like, Cubs-White Sox doesn't need to be 2 years in a row. Why not do, like, Cubs Brewers or something, or like Cubs Cardinals. Like
Cubs Cardinals is a big one. Like that's one of the big ones.
Yeah, too. Like it doesn't even need to be like the absolute biggest rivalry a team has, because obviously one team's biggest rival might, the other team might have a different biggest rival, but switch it up a little. I mean, The fact that the Jays and Tigers are a rivalry. What's the rivalry? They're just close together.
Like
Like,
it hasn't been a rivalry in like
it's not like it's the
over
'90s or the '80s
yeah. It's
anymore.
not like like they're not in the same division anymore. It hasn't been a rivalry in like
I
over
just
30 years.
I hate when leagues try to force rivalries because that's not how rivalries work. They work by, just history and moments happening. Like the Jays and Rangers were a rivalry despite being in different divisions, different, sides, kind of like one's way up north, the other's way down south. Like
Yeah,
they're not really
absolutely. Like
close to each other, but
they're
they became rivalries by continuously facing off in the playoffs. The bat flip, the punch, stuff like that. That builds a rivalry. Not,
yeah.
hey, it's rivalry weekend. You two are now rivals.
Yeah, not to mention, like, there was a little bit of animosity there. Like, there was a lot of guys on those teams who,
Oh yeah,
not obviously not every single player on both teams, but there was a lot of guys who did not mess with each other. You remember the one time that, what was it, 2018, I think it was, maybe 17, I don't remember, but Stroman's pitching against the Rangers in Texas, like a random regular season game, like May or whatever it is. And, he does his pitch, and then fucking Odor mocks his little windup, just grabs his nuts at him, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? For a few years, that was like a thing.
Heat.
You know what I
That's
mean?
actually heat and rivalry implications behind it, rather than just, all right, you two are from bordering states, and you guys don't have a rival. Like, your biggest rivals already have games, so we'll just schedule this. I just think that this is such a good concept, rivalry weekend. They just need to implement it better.
Yeah. It's really weird. Like, it doesn't really make much sense, I find, but
yeah,
whatever. Like Marlins Rays, another one. It's like, yeah, you're both in Florida, but like, where's the? I mean, I guess they're young franchises.
But again, those are also the tough ones where it's like the Marlins and Rays themselves don't really have true number one rivals. Like that one, sure, if that's like some leftover teams, like I get it. It's just the fact that everyone is built like that. Phillies Pirates is another one. I mean, you could pick like 3 different rivalries for the Phillies. The Pirates aren't even one of the first 10 that would come to my mind.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not thinking Pirates. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't make much sense. And a lot
other
of it
than
is
being
too,
from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and like a lot of it too is like I mean, we were kind of talking about it. Like there are teams that have like maybe used to have a rivalry with a team, or whatever. But if there's no real current rivalry, or if it's not like a ultra historic rivalry like Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Giants, whatever, it doesn't hit. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why, like, I know that, like, I mean, we were just talking about, like, Blue Jays, Tigers. That used to be a thing, back in the 80s, 90s, whatever, when they were both in the East, before there was a Central Division, whatever. But in 2026, they actually said this on the broadcast today. They're like, I wonder how many of the players on both teams even, like, know that that's a thing.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. Another one is that they have Red Sox Braves. That one actually makes sense historically, and they're not even close geographically, so it's like, why are you doing it for that one and none else?
Yeah, that, I know, it's weird, because, like, at times they show they understand it, but at times they also just don't.
Yeah.
Just weird. I don't know. It's weird, but, I mean, at the end of the day, games are being played, so I'm happy.
That's true.
We have some things to talk about, some other things. We have our first big trade of the season. So, this went down literally as I was posting the last episode. This tweet hit my, notification hit my inbox. It's about a week at this point, but it is what it is. So, on the morning of May 9th, the Cleveland Guardians acquired Patrick Bailey from the San Francisco Giants for left-handed pitching prospect Matt Wilkinson, a.k.a. Tugboat, and the 29th pick in the 2026 MLB draft. Ethan, you know what I find really funny about this trade?
What do you find funny?
There's this thing that happens every single time a trade like this happens. Everyone keeps saying, you can trade draft picks? What? Since when? I didn't know you could trade draft picks. And it happens every single time a trade like this happens. And it's not like these types of trades happen like frequently, but it's like they happen like frequently enough. You know what I mean?
Just someone who follows baseball closely would know, like, yeah, that's a thing that happened.
Like I remember, I can't remember what the last one was. I remember the Paul Goldschmidt one of the Cardinals one. There are definitely more recent ones I just don't remember, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For anyone who does not know, for one reason or another, if it is a competitive balance pick, you can trade it. but that's really only decided like within like the 6-7 months whatever coming up to the draft anyways. So thank God
Yeah,
you can't. Thank God you can't trade picks outside of that in the league
because that's the thing. Baseball's the one sport where that would ruin. Because you think it's bad in other sports. Could you imagine making a trade and then you just say, all right, we'll give you rounds 3, 6, 14, 21, 26, 34, 55, 108, 6,000. Like, enjoy.
Exactly. Like, no, that's God. Imagine how many teams just ruin their future if you could do that.
Oh no, 100%. Because imagine trading a player for like a first, second, and third round pick in a year. Because it's like, okay, what is a team like? For example, the Dodgers. Do they really need a first round pick this year when they can get a better player versus a team who's trying to rebuild a farm system? Like,
exactly.
it
Like,
just creates a problem where half the league wants too many picks and the other half doesn't care about any of the picks.
Like,
That's
really
what it feels like it's going to be.
Exactly. We really do not need to look at.
And that's what I like about the competitive balance picks, because there is a way to trade draft picks without mortgaging your team's future for a rental, basically, because that's also what you see in other sports. Like, you see coming up at the deadline, it's like, all right, we got to make a move. We're going to trade this guy for like 3 first-round picks. Could you imagine doing that in baseball?
Yeah, because that'd be ridiculous. That'd be absolutely insane. But let's take a look at this trade really quick. So, Patrick Bailey to Cleveland for Wilkinson and pick number 29. Now, that's still a first-round pick. That's still first-round talent. So, I mean, the Giants have a solid shot to add somebody solid there. But overall, listen, let me know if this is just me. I feel like the Guardians, are running out like bandits in this trade. And I understand that Patrick Bailey has just not been hitting, at all this season, even well below the rate that we usually expect from him. But this seems like, you know what I mean? This seems like kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's that insane to say, especially when you consider the fact that, the return is, I really do like Wilkinson. I think that he is a very fun pitcher. Loved him in the WBC. But in reality, he doesn't really hold that much value, especially to a team like Cleveland, who we know are able to kind of pump out relief pitchers at a very successful rate.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of guys, kind of like what the Rays do, but obviously not to that extent, but definitely of getting it. What is interesting, though, is the fact that their other catcher is Austin Hedges.
Yeah, they're going ultra defense, everything. They sent down Bo Naylor, who has also been struggling. Yeah, they're going all in on this kind of defense. I mean, honestly, defense only catcher at this point. Patrick Bailey, as of this recording, has an 11 WRC plus, and I think two things can be true here. Number one, Patrick Bailey is not a good hitter. He has never been a good hitter, and he probably never will be a good hitter, with all due respect, right? But 11 WRC plus is kind of nuts, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to get better. That's the one thing. It's more so the Giants wanting to kind of get rid of him, because it just seems like that's what it was. Not saying that Wilkinson is just getting rid of him, because obviously still a solid pitcher, but
he's okay.
I mean, when they're
he doesn't even rank in the Giants' top 30 prospects right now. It's not really anything to write home about.
But Eric Haas and Daniel Suzak have been hitting the ball well, so I can understand, the urgency in wanting to make a trade. And especially with Bailey, who is elite defensively, but that even in a good offensive year, good is an OBP under 300 still, and an OPS hovering around 600.
Mm-hmm.
Even good isn't good. But we've had this discussion before where players are still super valuable because of the defense. He is still a very valuable player regardless of what he does with the bat. Anything he does with the bat is just, bonus.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's definitely a struggle, and there's no sugarcoating it right now. You're not getting competitive at bats from him. It's not it's just, okay, he's going to get out. It's but a chance of a hit, it's he's going to get out, and You know what I mean? If he gets a hit, it's probably a single.
Yeah.
But
I just really like this like buy low for the Guardians because like yes, Bailey again, he's been really struggling with the bat this season to the point where he is like a negative win player right now. But like, Patrick Bailey coming into the season has had a little over 1,250 plate appearances in the bigs, and he's been a little bit above a 70 WRC plus. Now, even let's say he regresses and he's like a 60 WRC plus guy, 50, whatever you want to say it is. Respectfully, he's not going to have 11 WRC plus for the season. Like, I don't really know who needs to hear that. But I still feel like this kind of move is I don't know. I feel like it has more to do with where the Giants want to go as a team, which is a whole complete out of the discussion, which, we're going to get to in a sec. But I feel like you didn't have to sell low on Patrick Bailey because, like, you can give him the time to turn around. If he doesn't, then, whatever, his value's already low right now anyways, clearly. Or, he turns it around somewhat and, gets back to where you would expect him to be offensively, which still, keep in mind, isn't that high of a bar anyways. And you get a lot more for him because he only has 2 years of service time right now. Like, he is, you know what I mean? He has control. That's why I would think that someone like this, who's been, last year he was a 3-win player. The year before that, he was almost a 4.5-win player. 2023, just 97 games, put up 2.7 WAR. Like, that's a valuable player. So I'm kind of surprised that the Giants sold low so quickly on him.
Yeah. I mean, especially when I feel like a team that has a good, maybe support staff in terms of coaching for hitting coaches and stuff, I feel like could have taken that flyer, maybe even given up a little more to ensure that you're getting a great glove with a chance of getting maybe, way closer to a league average bat, like a 90 WRC plus, 85 WRC plus guy. That's definitely a possibility. It's not like we're asking him to have a WRC plus of 140. We're asking, 80, 85, which, he's
not even, honestly. 70
capable of doing it. Yes.
70. Like, last year, he was a 70 WRC plus bat. He was a 3-win player. Like, that's really good value to get out of your, out of the catching spot. Not to mention, he's like, I mean, we talk about how, good defensively he is, whatever. Like, especially right now, with the new ABS and everything, we talked about it at one point. Like, really good framers they aren't losing any value. Like, that value is not going anywhere.
No, and honestly, I would argue that framing is just as, if not more important, because of the calls that don't get. Let's say you don't have challenges. Let's say, you just don't want to challenge because you don't know for sure. That's when the deceptiveness really comes into play, because you're either forcing a guy to waste a challenge or you're making him hold on to the challenge. Like, I don't know if I should say more important framing is, but it's definitely just as important.
Yeah, like, it has not lost any importance. It has not lost any relevance or anything like that. Like, it is just as huge, just as valuable as it has been throughout the entire fucking history of the league and the sport. You know what I mean? There is definitely some level of bad luck that Patrick Bailey has been getting. I say some level because it's obviously, he's not a good hitter. But, like, you don't run a 172 BABIP and, everything's all fine and dandy. You know what I mean? Like, it does, as we like to say here, it gets to a point, you know what I mean, where obviously we're not expecting him to be much, but there's a certain standard that we expect him to be at, which, again, isn't very high. But, when you're underperforming your expected WOBA by almost 100 points, it's, it's not that crazy. And it's not like his process is that bad. Like, his chase rate isn't, like, it's below average, but it's not that low. Like, it's 46th percentile. Yeah. His whiff rate's in the 39th percentile, which, again, these are both below average, but they're not, like, crazy bad, right? It's not like the 5th percentile.
And it's a small sample size, rather, but his bat speed is the highest of his career.
Mm-hmm.
That is also worth noting, the fact that it's not like he is completely useless, not doing anything right. His process definitely is better than it was last year.
Absolutely.
But he's just not getting the same luck, and luck doesn't necessarily mean he needs to, fluke in a 7-something OPS. but luck is in to be playing to where he is, because if he's playing to his expected stats, yes, that is still well below average offensively. It is significantly better than what he's giving you,
Than what he's giving you right now, absolutely. I found this really interesting thing with not just Patrick Bailey, but honestly the Giants as a whole. I know he's not the only one on this team that's kind of having this thing going on. Their ground ball rate, they're hitting so many more ground balls this year. Patrick Bailey's ground ball rate is also up almost 10%. I know Matt Chapman is running a really high ground ball rate. The Giants' ground ball rate last year was 40.6. They ranked 22nd in ground ball rate. They actually ranked 9th in batted balls hit in the air, right? But this year it has kind of been a little bit of a different story. This year they rank 6th in ground ball rate and 25th in air rate. So they are hitting far fewer balls in the air and far more balls on the ground, which, you know, it doesn't really take a historian to tell you that that is going to lead to less offense, you know, driving the ball less, more ground balls, whatever. There was actually a quote from Buster Posey, and this isn't even this year. This is old. This just happened to come up on my timeline. It was something that he said last year, right? This tweet is from July 2025. At Twitter user at SFG Salsa. This is where I found this screenshot here. So, basically the crux of this, you know, the TLDR version of this quote is basically Buster Posey saying, you know, you're going to get better results if instead of hitting it in the air on a line or whatever, you're, you know, hitting it a little lower, maybe on the ground. There's this part at the end. He says, I think you are rewarded more in our park for being able to hit the ball on the line, maybe hit it hard on the ground, force the defense to make a play. Now, obviously, San Francisco is a pitcher's park, right? You know, they have the really big gaps and everything. But, I mean, come on. Come on. Like, are we really going to do this? Are we really going to do this? I don't really think that it's a big surprise that, you know, you see Patrick Bailey's ground ball rate go up and his offense, you know, drops that much. Matt Chapman runs the highest ground ball rate of his career by a good margin, too. He's never been... His previous career high in ground ball rate was 41.7% in 2019. He's had over 50% ground balls this year, and he's having easily the worst offensive year of his career. His OPS starts with a 5 right now.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, because we talk about this pretty much every episode, but look, when I'm looking at his best offensive season, do you know what sticks out to me?
I have a feeling I know exactly what you're going to say, but I'm going to let you say it.
It's the highest pull air percentage of his career. What? That can't be a coincidence.
No,
that just can't.
No way.
And oh my goodness, did you see the quote? Oh my, this one was insane. Did you
the Rays hitting coach? The Rays hitting coach
from the Rays hitting? Yes.
If he hits it 100 miles an hour, kick him out of the cage. That's crazy.
It might be the worst quote from a coach
insane.
I've ever heard.
That's insane. Now
in baseball,
like that's ridiculous. I understand like what he's like, you know. What he's saying is, yeah, we want to make him more control. We don't want to let like the swing it away from him, whatever. But like, come on, like, what are we doing? He hits it 100 miles an hour, makes optimal contact. You kick him out of the cage. Get fucking real. But yeah, this opens up though a more interesting discussion about the Giants. That is more interesting about, you know, the Patrick Bailey thing or whatever.
Is it them humping in the outfield?
Not what I was getting at, but hold on. Hold on.
That was fire.
Woo! You see they got asked to stop doing it?
I know.
They got told to stop doing it, which is crazy. There have been some crazy celebrations.
Make baseball woke again.
You've seen, like, there's some crazy celebrations that we've seen. I mean, I'm sure everyone saw this video. Ohtani steals a base and he, you know, gets up and he's like, the hand motion looks like he's fucking jerking his shit.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember the one that they used to have in, like, the dugout when they were, like, doing very similar stuff to what the Giants did? I mean, look, baseball's gay, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Dude, ain't no problem. You know, listen, Ain't no problem with it. Get a little pride flag.
That's why we like it. You know what I mean?
Ain't no problem.
It brings us closer together. I mean, what brings people closer together than bumping parts with your good friends?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Bumping meats. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Having a cockfight, if you will.
Oh, speaking of which, we got a lot to talk about that.
That was crazy, man. I was just scrolling Twitter that morning or whatever, and I see the graphic. I don't know if it was from John Boy.
Talking baseball,
yeah, whatever. And I just see that, and I'm like, what?
For those who don't know,
could not believe what I was looking at.
Edwin Diaz is linked to illegal cockfights. A federal ban on cockfighting took effect in Puerto Rico in 2019. The quote is, "It's legal in Puerto Rico, thank God, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I feel safe here. The cockfighting arena is like my home." Which, first and foremost, insane quote.
Cockfighting arena is like my home is crazy.
And here's an alleged quote, and I want to stress alleged because that's exactly what the tweet says. And it is in this article that he said this. So it is from USA Today. The article written by Josh Peter. You got a problem, take it up with him, not me, because I'm not the one who's spreading this potential quote. But it was, so his rooster had a comeback win after suffering a knife wound. The quote is, "My rooster went down dead and got up to fight. Doing what my roosters know how to do, finish fights. He did what I do when I come into pitch in the ninth to close out the game."
Like, this is a crazy
so
bro.
Now I gotta ask, when his rooster was coming into the ring, did he blast Narco? I just have to wonder.
Ooh, hold on, no, that'd be gas. I need film of what's happening in the cockfighting arena when it comes in. I need to know. Narco's better have been blasted. I never thought about that until you said it. I'm praying.
The trumpets come out. I mean, Mr. Met's making an appearance. I don't care that he's with the Dodgers now.
Like, fuck, man.
I mean, that's just gotta be... That's just... you know what I mean? If that's not happening, I don't want it.
This is, gotta be, one of the funniest baseball situations that I've
because
seen
I'm not gonna condone this, because... I'm not gonna condone cockfighting, because, animals dying just for entertainment isn't necessarily something I condone. But, at least he wasn't doing something that other players do, like Wander Franco.
This is true. There's a lot of other things he could be doing that are far worse. You know what I mean? He could have gotten hit with a, like you said, Mr. Franco got found guilty. A certain really annoying pitcher got hit with a 2-year ban for something that we don't fuck with.
I'm not here to say, to make a tier list of crimes and what's worse and what should be looked down upon. That's not what we're doing here.
Crimes against humanity tier list.
But at least, I mean, that would be fun, but
that would be fire.
At least he's not endangering the lives of other human beings, I guess.
It could be worse. But
that's the bright side. Not to say that, chickens' lives don't matter, but, I mean, at least it's not, at least it's not what Michael Vick was doing, so.
Ooh. Yeah, man. Hey, that's crazy. That's what I was thinking about earlier. I was like, damn, this guy's...
Now I gotta know. Now I have to ask a really important question. Was it a human or a chicken that stabbed it? Because what if they taped a knife onto one of the roosters? Is that a possibility? I don't know how they do it there.
They tape they attach them to the sides and it's jousting.
I've seen things where people do that with animals, where they give an animal a weapon, whatever happens type of thing. Was it a human that stabbed it because they wanted Edwin Diaz to lose money, or was it in battle he got struck? I mean, these are the important questions that we are here to ask on this podcast and with the sport of baseball. People want to know what the exit velo on a hit was. We want to know who stabbed Edwin Diaz's rooster.
Listen, Mr. Diaz, if you're listening right now and you have...
Please let us know. We would love to have you on and talk about this. Share your side of the story. Unbiased, unjudged. We're not going to be given, Yeah, this is real journalism here. We want to get to the bottom of it. We want to know the truth. We're not here for narratives. We're not here, to make guesses on stuff, because we're here to find out the truth. And if you want to vent out what happened with your cock, please let me know.
we would love to hear what happened with your cock.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy too? Listen, like obviously, like now everyone knows, but like these graphic writers, they know exactly what they're doing. Obviously,
Oh,
because
100%,
it gets to
because
a point.
they'll get used.
You
Yes.
see these so much more now. Have you seen the Zora Mamdani ones? Holy
Oh
shit!
yeah.
16 inches, however many holes filled. I'm like, bro, these ones be stunning me, bro.
And then you could use them in any situation. It's like, oh yeah, your GM makes a trade for a player, a big balls trade. You send the 16 inches one. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
One of my friends said, "Can you get a stripper pole in your apartment?" And I sent the illegal cockfight graphic. I sent that picture in there, and I said, "This is gonna be us soon in my apartment." I sent it to 2 more of my friends, and I said, "Us."
So where do we stand on the poll?
Amen. Amen. Listen.
I got a poll guy. I can hook you up.
Listen, the cockfights might be coming to the crib soon. So I don't know.
Yeah. So Edwin Diaz, if you want in, you got first dibs, buddy.
We do.
You can use your rooster of choice.
Don't worry. We'll name the poll after you in your honor.
It will literally be the Edwin Diaz poll. Yes. Like, you know how at Fenway there's Pesky's poll?
Diaz poll.
That's what this is like, the Diaz poll. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna rewind it back a little bit. We were talking about the Bailey stuff. I think that the Patrick Bailey stuff, actually the more interesting discussion isn't necessarily about Patrick Bailey or the trade itself. It's about, are the Giants finally going to blow it up? Are they finally going to like realize how mid this team is and just be like, all right, we could benefit from trying to reset right here? Because like, no, I don't think anybody coming into the season was going to tell you that they're going to be like they're a high end playoff team, whatever. Maybe they they're in contention, maybe sneak into a spot, whatever. But that was like their ceiling, was maybe they sneak in, right? And obviously with the terrible start to the season, that was the big red alarm. But the other thing is, like, this team they're gonna have a really hard time in the future trying to contend, because they have some big contracts on the books right now. And
yeah, and it's interesting because it's a relatively young team too.
Yeah,
like it's not like super young where all the guys are prospects, and like for young guys like the Rockies or something. But the average age of this team is definitely like, I don't know the exact number, but based off looking at it, I'm gonna say like 26, 27. I'd say maybe. So it's like you're looking at a relatively young team, which is also just makes it so much more confusing as to the team they're building here, because a lot of the guys aren't necessarily young where it's like they could be stars. It's young, but it's like their ceiling isn't much higher than what they've already been.
Exactly. And again, like, they have a lot. I mean, granted, San Francisco has been a team that, in recent years has been willing to shell out pretty pennies, right? But like, they have the Devers contract. They have Matt Chapman on the books. They have Willie Adames. Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be there for another few years. There's no way he's opting out of that deal. Like, that right there, that's like 4 pretty big contracts right now that you're going to have to deal with. And I think it's going to be kind of hard to get off of some of these, because, like, if I'm looking at, let's say I'm looking at Matt Chapman, right? I'm looking at a guy who is 33 years old, is getting paid for quite a few years at this point. He's getting paid through 2030, $25 million a year, by the way. He's not having his best season, and like, you know what I mean? Like, his process is worse. He's chasing more, like, he's hitting the ball on the ground more. It's just not looking very pretty. Willie Adames, same sort of thing, right? He is getting paid for a minute. His peripherals are so much worse than they were a few years ago, like when he got paid. He's not hitting the ball as hard. He's already 30. His defense has seemingly fallen off a cliff this season. That was one of the best things about him when they signed him, was he can give you some power, and he's going to be a really good defensive shortstop. Like, that is those two things together, 790, 780 OPS plus upper tier defense at shortstop, insanely valuable. He's giving you none of that right now. He wasn't like that great last season offensively either, albeit a lot of it was a really slow April. But like, even so right now, it's like, again, the same sort of thing as Matt Chapman, right? Like, he's already 30 years old. He's getting paid through 2031. On average, his contract is $26 a year. Starting next year, it's 31 a year for next year and then the following 4 years after. Like, I don't know what team would want to take any of these contracts on. Devers right now, he looks terrible this season. You know what I mean? As much as we clown on the trade.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know. I might have to.
But as well, on the opposite side, you could look at a guy like Luis Arias and how he's performing, and you got a pretty nice trade chip there right now.
Exactly, yeah. Like, that's nice too, but
it's one thing to say that a guy is a good trade candidate versus actually getting positive assets in return.
Yeah, like, he's a solid trade chip, but he's only on a 1-year contract, if I'm not mistaken. Which inherently is going to limit his value. And also, listen, as great as Luis Arias has been this season, not just, like, you know, the regular hits a lot of contact sort of thing. He has been, like, I mean, we talked about this a few episodes ago. He's been really good as a base runner and as a defensive player, which is those have never been things that he's been good at.
Right now he's 83rd percentile in base running value, which is lower than it was when we first talked about it, but his fielding run value is in the 99th percentile still, and his outs above average is in the 100th
He's
percentile.
Unironically been, like, spectacular defensively, which is really weird.
Yeah. You don't really see that from a guy at this point in his career. Like, if it's a rookie year and you were rough and then you bounce back the next year, sure. You don't really see it where a guy for years on end is just such a bad defender and then says, you know what, I'm going to be a platinum glove winning caliber defender.
Also, mind you, like, he used to be a second baseman and then he got moved off the position to go play first.
Yeah.
Like, that way.
And it's not like, it's not like he was just, just below average. He was bad.
It was rough. But yeah, even with, like, a nice trade chip like a Luis Arias, it's like, you know what I mean? That, you know, he can get you maybe something okay at the deadline, but it's gonna be really, really tough. With some of these
end of the day,
to do anything.
End of the day, the job to, get a return falls more on the player development and the scouting rather than the GM himself, because we've seen so many times where it's like a good player's traded and it's some random, like, Dominican Summer League guy, and then that guy turns out to be like Caminero or Tatis or something, and it's like, whoa, why would they trade it? But it's like, I'm not going to say that, they knew that these guys would be that, but they saw something in their game that they saw, if we could, yeah. And that's the thing. You could get a guy who is producing in a couple of years from now for Arias. Like, I'm not saying that you're going to get some superstar, but there's a very legitimate possibility that if you trade Arias, you're getting a guy that's going to contribute to some capacity in the next couple of years.
Yeah, like, you're gonna get something okay. Like, you're not gonna get nothing, but yeah, I don't know. I think, like,
but
honestly,
it's not a good business strategy to sign guys just to trade them for less than they're worth.
Oh yeah,
and just
absolutely.
Repeating.
That's not
so the Giants definitely need to figure that out.
Yeah, that is definitely not the move. I mean, we asked last week for, we said every team, they have one big question above the rest, right?
Yeah.
For the Giants, we were saying, like, all right, are we cooked? Is it time? I think it's time. I think the Patrick Bailey move, what it does is it is signaling, I think they're trying to wave the white flag right now. I think that's what that signals, is they're saying, all right, you know what? We're done. And it kind of adds a bit of context to their offseason, because they didn't really do anything that crazy in the offseason. You know what I mean? They were rumored to go after a lot of guys. They were rumored to be on a lot of the starting pitchers. They were not necessarily, like, in on Kyle Tucker, but, they were here and there. They got a mention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then they didn't really do anything. It was like Luis Arias, Harrison Bader was their offseason, whatever. There's a few other guys, but nothing crazy. And I wonder if this is wise, because they were like, I don't really know if we can do much with this team. If they were almost ready to wave the white flag. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like they have a farm system that's just oozing with talent that could just, produce some studs in the next year or two and make this team good again. It's just not practical. Like, they have some good names, don't get me wrong. There are some good names in that system where it's like, okay, this is somebody who, a couple of years down the line could definitely be a solid producer. but I'm not looking at and seeing guys where it's like, this guy's a stud, this guy's a dog, this guy's going to be a star. Like, I'm not seeing a whole lot of that in this system.
Yeah, so that's like they're going to need to find a way to replenish the system, whether it's guys that are, currently on the team, you move them, get something okay for them. You draft a guy. I mean, you just got the 29th pick in the draft. Maybe you can do something with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think I'm for the Giants. I'm kind of glad because I didn't really see a route going forward unless they just like had a ridiculous free agency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For their sake, I'm kind of glad because I think it was time. I think it's been time. But it is what it is. Something happened not very long ago, and I swear to God, it's a thing that has been talked about for years. It's been rumored, there's been conversations, whatever. The Rays have, albeit as a tentative agreement, for a new ballpark. Now, as far as my understanding goes, the city of Tampa has to actually approve it. Like, it has to pass through their city council or whatever. But we have this is huge. We have an agreement. We have an agreement on a new ballpark for the Tampa Bay Rays. It's actually in Tampa.
It's one of those things where you gotta wait to see it to believe it, though. In my opinion, we saw this in the NHL. The Coyotes, who recently lost their team in Arizona, went through a similar thing where they tried so hard to get an arena funded, and they finally had had one in Tempe that they had it in place, ready, like the money was there, whatever. And, I'm pretty sure it was being paid for by whoever was running the this you know what I'm trying to say. He was trying to run this proposition.
Yeah.
But then the people voted on it and it didn't get through. So that's a big thing. The people have to vote on it as well. So and the actual government. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. It's very optimistic to hear as a Rays fan. But don't get too ahead of yourself just yet, because
this is also
things
true.
fall apart all the time.
This is also true. It's not a guarantee, but this is also a huge step. We have not, for the Rays, we have not.
This is the first. Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? There have been talks. I feel for years about Rays new ballpark. They're talking here. They're talking here. You remember there was a rumor. I want to say this is 7 years ago about them potentially playing half their games in Montreal. If you remember that, however many years ago. We've heard so much about this kind of thing over the years.
Yeah.
And it's this is just, I don't know, that's a huge development. This is a huge step.
Yeah, it is.
That, we just haven't got to yet. So when I saw that, I was like, whoa.
And this one would actually be in Tampa Bay, not outside.
Yeah,
so
it's really
you gotta
close to where I think the Buccaneers play football, I think is where they said.
Raymond James, I would imagine.
I'm pretty sure they said it would be here, and it's close to that. I think so. Maybe I'm spreading misinformation,
but no, I mean, it's definitely gonna help with people getting to the game. Hopefully, that sees a increase in the attendance, because that has been an issue for the Rays since forever. It feels like, where they're not getting the fans even in playoff games and stuff. And that's the one thing that I'll always say. People, you'll see a playoff game and it'll be, empty almost. And people are like, oh, it's a weekday at this time. Obviously, it's not going to be full. But, you look at any other team that are in the playoffs playing playoff games. It doesn't matter if it's a 1 p.m. game or a 7 p.m. game.
Guys show up.
The teams will, that shouldn't be an issue.
And it's crazy because their, playoff atmosphere is, crazy. They have a really nice playoff atmosphere. You remember... This is when they were playing the Astros. I don't remember how many years ago this was.
I remember that, yeah.
Kiermaier hits the home run off of, I think it was Greinke, and the stadium just blew up. They get it. They get down. Or who was it that hit the grand slam against Chris Sale? I don't remember who it was. Was it Hunter Renfroe? Man, they get going.
Oh no, it was Luplo, I think.
Oh, it was Luplo? That's who it was?
Yeah, Jay's legend.
Oh my god. Hell yeah. They get it going in there. So,
And
you know what
that's
I mean?
with, the attendance still being a bit shaky.
Absolutely. Because I apparently there's like this crazy bridge that people just like don't want to fucking cross.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get across, and obviously being, in Florida with all the hurricanes and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
you can't exactly build like a underground subway system, so it's not like you can just do that to avoid it altogether. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. But being in Tampa Bay, in the actual city, should help a lot.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it. I'm sure there will be, when it gets to that point, we'll hear about it, but it is a big thing. You know what else is a big thing?
What?
The the MLB and the Players Association had their first CBA talks recently. Jeff Passan tweeted about it on the 12th, which I think is, what was that? Was that Tuesday? It was Tuesday.
Yeah.
They were holding their first official collective bargaining talks, before the CBA expires, which, remember everyone, the CBA expires in December. So, I mean, this was nothing crazy. It was just like, each side giving their position and, whatever. But we're starting. It's the first one. It's happening now. Like, we're here, right?
Yeah.
Again, obviously, this one in particular didn't have, this side was saying this side was saying that. You know what I mean? It's not like how it was what was the last lockout? Was it 4 years ago? I think it was after the 21 season, or 5 years ago. I guess after the 21 season, right? I think that's what it was. It's not like that. We're hearing them go back and forth and blah blah blah. This is going to be a big CBA. This is going to be a big one. Eventually, we'll do a more in-depth discussion about it, but this is set to be a big one.
Yes, this has a very realistic chance of carrying on and missing part, if not all of a season, honestly.
Yeah, we
because
talked about,
they are going to be very far apart in terms of money.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different things that people are talking about. The salary cap's the big one. People are talking about deferrals and blah blah blah.
In a very simple way,
all that stuff.
In a very simple way to put it on the negotiations, like the meat of it, the players want to make more money, the owners want to spend less money. That's just how it is.
Yes.
And finding some common ground there is going to be harder than usual because of the implications and what happens. Because if you're a guy who's going to be a free agent in a year or two, you're seeing some of these contracts that are being signed, like $50 million a year, $60 million a year, $70 million a year. And you're thinking like, oh, I'd be stupid if I would agree on something that would ensure that I make even less than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I mean, obviously, we don't know what a salary cap outline would look like, you know what I mean? We don't have, like, any specifics or anything. Like, this is just the opening stuff. But, like, salary cap is the big one. That's, like, the big one that everyone is talking about. Salary cap, no salary cap, whatever. I wouldn't, as a player, I would imagine that, pretty much every player would be like, fuck no. Do you remember last year when Manfred went in the Phillies clubhouse to talk about it and Harper told him to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah.
Talk about that? Like, players are not going to want to mess with that.
My thing is, I think that's a bad look for Manfred because everyone knows that what Manfred envisions for the most part, and they know that he's not going there to be like, hey guys, we're going to make sure that you guys get all the money that you could ask for. That's not what him going there is about.
Yeah, no, it's
and trying to talk to the players and try to do stuff like that while not an official meeting is being taken place, just doing it outside just screams to me that he's desperate to get their approval as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Which obviously, again, I'm not faulting him for because you do want to get the approval, but there's just ways of going about it. That's not it.
Yeah, no, I didn't really mess with that either. But, the players are not going to go down easy. Obviously, we see this with any sort of union negotiation, not even just in sports, like outside, right? We always see, it's the big guys, which in this case, it's not like the players are the little guys. Like, these guys are making millions of dollars to play a sport, but
But in the grand scheme of things, they are the little guy when the owners are worth
They
millions.
are the worker in this case, right?
Yes.
And it was the worker versus the big corporations, and the big corporations are always trying to find a way to maximize their profit margins, and they're always trying to limit their expenses the most as possible, which obviously on a certain level is just basic business, but also it gets to a point. And the workers who want to be like, hey, I'm not just gonna bend over and let you do your thing. Like I need my bread too.
The players are definitely going to be very patient in the sense of they're not going to see opening day as a deadline. They're going to, want to fight for it until they get what they want, because as a player, why would you agree to a CBA that ensures you're making less money when you're seeing some of the contracts that are being signed here? Implementing a cap would be bad for the players. It would be bad for. And that's why it's not going to be as simple, cut and dry as, hey, we want to implement a salary cap to make it more even, whatever. It's not going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, that's what we want. Because the players are being paid to do a job.
Absolutely.
And even if you love playing baseball and you see it more as, we get to play this game and get paid for it, if the difference is their contract would be $40 million a year versus $20 million a year, I could see why you'd want to, be hesitant to sign the new CBA and want more out of it rather than just, hey, you want to play baseball, sign this now, because the players are smart enough to know that they have leverage here.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the sense of they could just, if they refuse to play, if they say, yeah, we're not signing it, what are they going to do? Are they going to, just play with minor league players or something, like players from overseas? Like, no, that's just a worse product for the fans, and the league would lose so much money to the point where they'd probably see, the money that if they just paid the players what they can get and what they have been paying them could save the league more money.
Yeah.
Than if they just refuse to play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like it's at a point, and this is like. We've had CBA negotiations, whatever. The one even 4 years ago didn't feel like that crazy, even if there was a lockout, but it didn't feel this huge, you know what I mean?
And that pushed everything back too, and this is so much bigger, so if that's delaying the season, I don't even know what this is going to do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, like, obviously, as things progress, we'll hear more about, this side was asking for this, this side was saying this, blah, blah, blah. Again, it was the first meeting, so there's not really anything to it, but other than the fact that, it has started. Someone actually said, it's hilarious that it was just referred to as the opening presentations. There's this reply on the Jeff Passan tweet that's like, corporate America found a really classy way to say that they haven't started fighting yet. And I'm like,
yeah.
Which, I mean, yes, this is correct, but I don't know. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So we'll see what happens as things go on, but yeah. I think, are we ready to move on to the main main part of the episode, or is there anything else you want to talk about first?
I'm good with it, yeah.
All right, so we're almost a third of the way into the season. We're not quite there. I think we have like another week technically, or whatever it is, until mathematically we're there, or like 2 weeks or whatever. But we're okay portion in. We are going to look back at the biggest contracts that were signed this past offseason. And we are going to grade how all of these contracts are playing out so far. We're going to be sorting by the top 15 in like total money, like total salary, right? So, Tucker, like all these guys to the top 15.
Yeah.
We're not going to be talking about anyone outside of that. Maybe a 1-year deal is making a crazy ton of money. Just the top 15 highest grossing, or not highest grossing, but biggest overall contracts. So, the biggest contract signed last offseason, we'll start here. The Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker to that big $240 million deal.
And it's a prime example of why the players are going to be hesitant to sign.
People saw that. This guy's making $240 over 4 years. That used to be, listen, $240 used to be a 10-year deal. Used to be a 10.
Yeah, and on top of that, that's not a guy who hasn't hit 5 F4 in a season in his career. The fact that he hit 4.9 3 straight seasons is very
hilarious.
Funny, though.
It's hilarious. That is so funny.
you couldn't find .1 wars somewhere
And
else in
then
that
the one
season.
year where he was going to smash the 5 war mark, he got injured like halfway in the season.
Yeah.
He missed half the
year. Oh,
year.
yeah, he had like a 4 war through like 70 games or whatever it was.
4.2 through 70 games, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. So Tucker this season, he's been good, right? But he hasn't been Kyle Tucker, right? So far this season, he's hitting 248. He has a 349 OBP, but he's not hitting for any amount of power. This is the lowest ISO of his career. I don't know why I said it like that, ISO. Lowest ISO of his career since his very, very short, 30-game stint in 2018.
Yes.
His ISO right now is 149. He is never, in a full season or, season with, considerably more playing time, had an ISO below 198, right?
Yeah, and it definitely took a huge crash from his last couple years in Houston to the Cubs. 198 is not a bad number, especially paired with the 136 WRC plus, the 377 on base. But in the grand scheme of things, when you are consistently putting up 220, 230, 290 even, obviously not 290 is not the consistent one, but when you're putting up in the 3 years before that, 263, 221, 233, and then the 296 in the shortened, in your shortened season, going to 198 is a bit of a fall, but then you expect, okay, it's gonna jump back up the next year, but it's taking even more of a hit.
Well, even so, 198 ISO is a solid power mark too.
Yes, by all means,
that's a power hitter right there. This I don't know about all that. You know what I mean?
That it's just more so, compared to what he is rather than the average MLB player. Whereas 149 is, it's not that it's just, a power hitter, but that is not a good mark. You're hovering around the top 100 in ISO, and for a guy making that much money, that's just not good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though he has been solid offensively, 115 WRC plus, when you're paying a guy I know the deferrals technically make you, whatever, $60 million this year, right? You're expecting him to be a little bit, better than, just solid, right? As it stands right now, he's played 44 games, 189 plate appearances, and has 0.7 FWAR. That is on pace for 2.4 WAR per 650. That's not, what you're paying him for. And again, this is not to say that he's going to be playing this way the whole season, but, we're grading how the contracts have, how these guys are playing to this point in the season. And to this point in the season, he has simply been below expectations. I'm going to give him right now C- for those reasons.
Yeah, I will too. I mean, that's the thing. Kyle Tucker, what doesn't worry me is the fact that it's the Dodgers, right? He'll find the way come playoff time.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about him whatsoever. I'm just saying, so far he just hasn't been.
But this isn't somebody who, you look at these stats, this isn't a guy who should be one of the highest paid players in baseball on a year-to-year basis.
Absolutely not, right? Especially,
and even if you take out this year, even if you take out this year, I think you could still say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
you'd have a case, yeah.
You knew it was definitely an overpayment because you want to get a player, you want to ensure you got a player, you give them extra money. That's just business. That's just how it works. But it gets to the point where it's all right, just because you have the money doesn't mean that you're spending it wisely necessarily. Not to say that Kyle Tucker's not a, huge acquisition for the team, but definitely they're in a position where they can overpay. It definitely is an overpayment, though, and that's evident. Yeah, especially for someone who provides little to no value defensively, really, throughout his career.
Yeah, to this point, it just has not been what you've wanted from him. So that's why I gotta go C- on that one.
I'll agree with C-. It's a good season. A season, you look at the stats. That's a solid season for sure.
Yeah, this so far, it's just a solid, solid NBA player. But
solid. You're looking for a little bit more for $60 million a year.
Exactly.
I would have to say a C- as well, maybe even D+, just because of how crazy the AAV is. But C minus, I feel like, is fair. He's still a positive, decently above average contributor, just not to the level where he knows he can be at.
Oh, absolutely. So we're going to move on to the second biggest contract of the offseason. Ethan, turn me up.
Cease and desist,
baby. Listen, I'm going to take my... Listen, this might backfire. I don't give a fuck. I was told that this was a big overpay. I'd seen people
Padre fans were victory lapping us.
I had seen... Listen, after that one start against... It was the White Sox, the one where he was like kind of just You know, he wasn't that good. And that one start against the White Sox, they were saying this is the Dylan Cease experience. You know what they said, Ethan? They said...
What did they say?
They said he walks too many guys, the ball in the air. Said he can't pitch deep into games. He just pitched 7 innings in 3 straight starts.
Yeah, and one thing that's very interesting to note is that throughout his career, he was primarily a 2-pitch pitcher who also threw, a change up or a curveball rather once in a while. Throws he always threw a couple pitches like here and there. But like I'm looking at 2025, his usage percentages on the 4-seam 42%, on the slider 41%, curveball was 8%, and then the everything else like the sinker, the sweeper, and the changeup were 4 and 1% respectively. This year he's throwing a bit of everything. He's throwing fast 4-seam 35% of the time, slider 29%, changeup 11%, sinker 9%, curveball 9%. And that sweeper 6%. Like he has 6 legitimate pitches, and I would say that he uses all of them relatively consistently. Obviously, some more than others against, depending on the handedness. But like he isn't throwing that changeup to righty.
Yeah.
But he is throwing it a good amount against lefties, and that's really also interesting to note because he is debuting kind of a new pitching profile we haven't seen from him. Mm-hmm. And he's doing so very effectively.
Yeah, and he's actually, he's gotten better in a lot of aspects, too. Like, obviously, listen, even if he was pitching like he just has been the last couple of years, anybody could have told you that he was going to be really good. Like, there's a perennial 200 strikeout pitcher with one of the better... So far, this season, they haven't been quite as good at it, but, one of the better defenses in baseball behind him, right?
Yeah.
Like, anybody could tell you that was going to work out fine, at least for the first little bit of the contract until he's 34 or whatever. Anybody could have told you that was going to go fine. However, this season...
At that point, you would have already had a couple of great years, you would hope, and maybe even win by then, so it's doesn't matter.
Absolutely, it wouldn't matter by that point. That's what you're paying for. However, so far this season, he's actually improving in so many other aspects, and he is not walking nearly as many guys. His walk percentage is from the 20th percentile from the 42nd percentile. I shouldn't say not nearly as many. It's still actually a very similar percentage. But he's inducing so many more ground balls this year too. His previous career high in ground ball rate was 45.7%, which was 2019, in which he didn't really pitch that many innings. I think it was a 70-something inning sample size, whatever it was, 73 innings. Outside of that, he's never ran a ground ball rate higher than 40.3%. This year, he's running a ground ball rate of 47.5%. So, when you are one of the top strikeout pitchers in baseball, right? I think only Jacob Mizorowski has more strikeouts than him right now. When you are one of the top strikeout pitchers in baseball and you are inducing more ground balls, that is a recipe for success. Now, I was thinking about it, and, obviously the pitch mix, is a thing. We talked a few episodes ago about Jose Soriano, right? And how he's using so many more of his pitches, and, also on an individual level, his pitches are just better than they were before, but also when you add more things into your arsenal, and actually, I think Joe Siddall said this on the broadcast a few days ago, when you throw more things on there, I can't sit on something as much, right? Before, maybe you could sit on, he was basically fastball slider, pretty much. Those were over 80% of his pitches that he threw last year. It was fastball slider, made up 83% of the pitches he threw. This year, the fastball slider makes up still a pretty decent amount, 65%, or 64%, excuse me. But that is not nearly as much as over 80%. Because now you have to worry about the changeup. Now you have to worry about the slider. Now you have to worry about the sweeper. Now you have to worry about all this other stuff, right? You still have to worry about his cutter, right? Like,
yeah,
you have to worry about all these things now. So I can't sit fastball the same way. I can't sit slider. It has made his slider so much better, actually. Last year, hitters hit 228 and slugged 374 against the slider, which, pretty solid marks for Cease, actually. But this season, they are hitting 130 against his slider and have not recorded an extra base hit off of it. They're whiffing more against his fastball. They're whiffing more against his slider. Like, he's got it right now. He has just got it. They're whiffing more on his curveball when he throws it. And again, this is a lot of it. I think this is because he's turned into a real 6-pitch pitcher right now. Even if you want to say 4.5 pitches, whatever, because the sinker and curveball aren't.
But still, that's significantly up
more
over,
than basically
every year.
Yeah, he was basically before the season a 2.5 pitch pitcher, which even so, I still think he would have been good either way. But this is just a whole new level, right? Throwing all these other things in there. The changeup hasn't necessarily been the most effective pitch. He actually has a negative run value on it this year, but again, it makes everything, just having those other weapons, it makes everything else better, right?
Yeah, and one thing that's important to note as well is the ground ball rates is the fact that same thing goes for pitchers that goes for hitter. You want to give up the least amount of home runs.
Yep.
You got to ensure they're not pulling the ball in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to ensure they're just not hitting into the air. 52.5 air percentage, the lowest mark of his career by a decent margin if you take out 2019,
that 70 inning sample.
Yes.
When he was just called
and
up.
That's just very good to see, because another thing that a lot of people had a problem with him in terms of, that's evident, it's not just that people had a problem with it, but was that he gave up a lot of home runs.
Yes.
He has done a great job at limiting that this year. He has given up, what is it, one home run?
I'm pretty sure it's literally only been, it's one singular home run. His home runs per 9.
And it was a good pitch, too. It wasn't even
1-7.
Like a hanging pitch. I'm pretty sure it was a really good pitch, too, that just was a good swing. He has been so good this year. This has been such a good signing. And people who said that it was an overpayment, obviously it's so easy, but a lot of people were just taking that casual approach. Oh, high ERA in 2025, overpayment.
Yeah, and it's not to say that he wasn't a flawed pitcher coming into the contract. The walks were
right.
higher than you'd want. He hit a lot of hard contact. You say that about the fly balls and stuff, by the way. I also want to point out his barrel percentage is so much better than it was. He's doing such a good job at limiting hard contact in general. Not even just ground balls and stuff, just hard contact overall. His barrel rate last year was 8.6%. That was 46th percentile, so slightly worse than average. His barrel rate this year is 4.3%, which is now in the 83rd percentile. Hard hit rate has gotten a lot. Actually, his hard hit rate is actually slightly worse, ironically, by a couple decimal points. But, it's all these things, man. It's all these things. All these things, man. And also, you know what people are doing a little bit less this year? He's actually running pulled air percentage.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Last time they pulled less balls in the air, it was in that little short 2019 sample. That was it.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Things that, make hitters do well, the things to look at, are the same thing that makes the pitchers do well, just the opposite, obviously. As a hitter, you want a high pull air percentage. As a pitcher, you want a low one.
Mm-hmm.
A guy like Dylan Cease is putting up very low numbers in that aspect as to why, that plays a very big role, and that's the factor in why he's given up less home runs, because guys aren't pulling the ball, and they're also not hitting it in the air as much as normal. And having these other breaking balls, added to his repertoire regularly also will induce more ground balls, which is why we're seeing this. It's not like it's a fluke that he's just happening to get a couple more ground balls. It's because that's what he's doing. He is just getting them. It's not because, it's not because, it's just, they're just grounding out. They're just rolling over his pitches. It's because he's putting good pitches to make them do that.
Exactly.
So the balls that are put in play, which was a problem over his career, are now weaker and on the ground rather than hard hit in the air going 500 feet.
Exactly. And again, the arsenal is a big part of that. Like, the expanded
Yes.
arsenal is a big part of it. You can't just sit fastball slider anymore with him.
Right.
Like, not nearly as much, because you're seeing those pitches 15%, fewer, or less frequently than you were before. So, I gotta get, so far, this is an A+. Like, this guy's right now a legitimate Cy Young candidate. He's probably, like, second in the AL. If I had to, if it ended right now, which
I would agree. I would agree. Yes. And it is super, super close. Let me get the updated odds because I saw him like yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
I want to see if it's okay. Now it's plus 180 for Schlittler and plus 240 for Cease. And if you're not like a big bettor and you don't really know what that means, plus 240 implies that his implied probability, meaning the percentage chance that the odds makers are giving him to win the Cy Young, is at 29.4%.
Mm-hmm.
So when you consider how many pitchers there are and the fact that the favorite's 180 at 35.7%, that means he has a pretty damn good shot.
Yeah, even, before a guy like Tarik Skubal went down, like, he was still up there. Like, really, the only guy who I think has him right now is Schlittler, right? It's him and Schlittler at the top, right?
Yes.
You have other guys, Max Fried was up there before he got injured. He's going to fall out of that. You can say Davis
Jacob deGrom is third at plus 500, which would be a 16.67% probability. And it's a big fall from 3 to 4. Do you know who number 4 is?
Who's number 4?
It's Soriano at plus 1,200. And that's 7%. And then from there, it's an even bigger drop to Drew Rasmussen at plus 3,000, which would be 3%. So that's really, past DeGrom. It's kind of like, okay, now here's some long shots where unless guys get injured or just fall off the earth like C. Schlittler, then these guys don't have a chance at winning.
Yeah, no, like, it's those guys right now, and then, everyone else behind them, but... Like, obviously, the Dylan Cease contract came with lofty expectations. You don't just give someone $210 million for nothing. You're hoping to get, front-end production out of him. And he's honestly, like, he's been better than I could have imagined him being right now.
Yes.
Like, I would have been like, yeah, he's good. I even said before the season, like, yeah, whatever. They're going to label Gausman their one, but Cease is the best pitcher in that rotation. I've said that on some episode before. I don't remember. But, like... He's been so much better than I think, honestly, even the most optimistic people could have imagined.
Yeah.
Like, he's been lights out. I got to give this one. So far, it's an A+ on how he's been playing this season.
Yeah.
Pretty easy A+, I'd say.
Yeah.
Moving on to Alex Bregman. This is another one where it's kind of been, it's been a little wishy-washy with him. I think, obviously, he got the big contract from the Cubs, and, he was making, what is it? I think it's like something, what is it, like 35 a year, I think is what it averages out to. If my math is right.
30.89.
30.89. What?
Unless that's... Oh, wait. No, that's... Wait. Then I don't know what this is saying. That's what Fangraphs is saying. Yeah, it's not right.
Oh, it is 35 a year. Okay, yeah, no, I see the AAV thing on there.
Yeah, I don't know what Fangraphs...
Is there deferred money in this deal? I can't remember. Maybe it's that?
Might be it.
Oh,
then.
You know what? Yeah, because Cease's AAV is like 30.
Yeah, I'm clicking on it. Yeah, I'm clicking on it. It says 35 guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever. So
yeah.
I can't remember if there's deferrals in that deal. Whatever. 35 million AAV, 175 million over 5 years. He has not played the greatest baseball. It's kind of, I feel similar to this as I do like the Kyle Tucker one. Like, he's been fine, but you want better than fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest, I actually do think that a lot of it is just him, it's just simply not going his way right now. Like, the process is as good as it's ever been. Like, he's still not chasing. He's still taking walks. He doesn't really whiff. He's still hitting the ball hard right now. He's actually hitting the ball harder than he was last season. Like his hard hit rate is higher. I guess his average exit velocity isn't, but more frequently he's hitting the ball hard. So I honestly think that, he hasn't been like particularly great. Like, his OPS is a little bit above 700. WAR is 0.7 right now. Like, he hasn't been that great, but also I can sit here and I can say, yeah, he's gonna be better. Like, It's just simply not going his way right now. And I feel pretty confident in it. Did they just drop the ball in
What are
right
you
field?
watching?
I'm watching. I have Mets Yankees on my left. I
I
wasn't
don't
looking.
know.
I look over. I see the right fielder is camped under the ball, and then I look over again, and it got away from him. So someone dropped it. I don't know if Carson Benj and whoever's I don't remember who's playing right field this game, but had a thing going on. I know they have Benj in right. Never mind. I thought he was in center. Never mind. Whatever. Yeah, no, he just dropped the ball. Nice one. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, it's one of those ones. I kind of feel I feel kind of similar to this one as I do like the Kyle Tucker one. Like, it's not going good for him right now, but he will be fine. Like, I'm not worried, but also I'm just like, it hasn't. You haven't gotten very much value from him thus far, so I'm going to give this one. I'll be a little bit more generous with this one, I guess, because the money isn't as crazy as the Kyle Tucker one.
It's not $60 million a year.
So I'll give this one like a C instead of a C-.
Yeah, I'll say a C, maybe a C. Yeah, well, I was gonna say maybe C+, but the thing is, he's also not playing as well as Tucker, so that's why I don't want to go that extra. So I think C is fair. Yeah,
I'm strictly just being like, you know what, like, it's going a little bit better than it is right now. I know some of Kyle Tucker's like his walk rate's down, his strikeout rate's up, whatever. So I'll be slightly more generous to Alex Bregman on this. So, you know what it is. So we'll go there. Next up, Cody Bellinger is 5-year, $162.5 million deal. He has been having a fucking season, man. This motherfucker's been crazy.
To say the least.
I saw, the deal got signed, and a lot of people were like, man, I don't really know about it. I don't know about 5 years for him, whatever, right? And on a certain level, I get it, right? Not the craziest thing to say, right? He's currently on pace right now to finish the season with 6.5 WAR right now. That would be the highest since his MVP season in 2019.
And there's a lot to like in his profile that says that not only is this sustainable, but I don't think it's crazy to say that, like, maybe his numbers go up even a little more.
Absolutely. Like, he's still pulling the ball in the air a lot. Like, he's not chasing. Last year, it's crazy. He had a big problem with chase. He was in the 35th percentile for chase rate. He had a 30.2% chase rate. This year, 24.7%. In the 77th
I've always loved Bellinger, so
sorry?
It's good. I've always been a huge Bellinger guy, so it's really good to see.
Absolutely.
But the one thing that made him so good is you look at his MVP season and the seasons around it. When he was with the Dodgers in the early part of his career, pre-COVID, his walk rates were really high in the for him. Like, they were at 14.4% in his MVP season, whereas now they're 14.7.
Yeah.
His strikeout rate that year was 16.4. This year it's 12.6, even lower. He is really doing a good job with his approach, and I don't know what it is that changed from last year, but he seems way more comfortable in the box.
This approach is the best it's been since he won the MVP. And, like, it's not close either. Like, it's not even a conversation. Like, you mentioned the walk rate from, like, that 2021, because that was a season where he was really bad. You remember? And then even up through last season, his walk rates never even hit double digits. They never even got 9%. They've always been like, it was 8.9%, 6.9, 7.2, 7.9, and then last year 8.7. This right now is the highest walk rate of his career, right? And, when it was with the Dodgers, his rookie year, 11.7, 10.9, his MVP year, 14.4, the shortened season, it was 12.3. Again, like you said, he looks so much more comfortable in the box. He's getting his pitch so much more. He's driving the ball a little bit more too. Like, he's hitting the ball a little bit harder than he was last year. Like, he actually has an above average exit velocity as opposed to last year. And again, I mean, the chase, the walks, all that, it's the big thing. Because, when you're chasing less, right, you're inherently just going to, if you're aggressive in the zone and you're not swinging at stuff outside the zone, it's when we were talking about Yordan Alvarez, like, whatever, last week or whatever it was. That's what he does. Like, that's one of the things he does so well.
Yeah.
Like, he's aggressive
And it gets
in the zone,
to the point
where
where
swing at anything outside. It's the same
they're either
sort of
just
thing
going to walk you. They're either going to walk you or leave something down the middle they probably shouldn't, just because you're not going to swing at anything else.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what is happening with Cody Bellinger right now. Is he is not bailing out any pitchers at all. He's not letting the pitcher get bailed out.
That's the thing. I mean, it's just basic numbers that if you see more pitches in an at-bat, you'll see more, like, better pitches to hit in an at-bat.
Exactly.
It's just, that's how it is. Like, the way I see it is, if you wanted to, like, pick numbers out of a hat, right? Let's say there was 1 through 10, and the goal was to get as, like, the highest number possible. If you pick 5 numbers, you'll have a better chance getting a higher number than if you pick 2 or 3 numbers. Now, that analogy, I don't know what that means because I just came up with it, but you get what I'm saying. If I, like, the more like opportunities there are for something, the more it will happen. That's just probability. Yes. That's just math.
Yeah. And again, that's what's happening with Bellinger right now. He's like, I'm going to get my pitch more, right? I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Inherently, yeah, seeing more pitches, you're right, but also it's his pitch that he's seeing more.
Yes.
Right? He's leaving those ones that are going outside right now, right?
Because that's something that pitchers will pick up on. Like, oh, he's not swinging at this, so I'll throw this instead.
Exactly.
Oh, he's not swinging at this either, I'll throw this instead. And eventually he'll get to the pitch what he wants.
And you know what I mean? It's in the scouting reports for every single hitter. This is stuff that he, this is his wheelhouse, so we don't really want to throw him any hittable pitches here. And, he likes to chase this, so maybe just throw a lot of these, right? With Bellinger, he's saying, like, you know what? You wanna try to get me to chase? I'm just not gonna do it. How about that? What are you gonna do now? Now you gotta come at me, and you know what I mean. He's just overall more selective. He isn't quite as aggressive in the zone as he has been throughout his career. Like his meatball swing percentage. So like the really hittable pitches. Actually, he's not even swinging at those as much. But he's still swinging at like 70% of those, and he's just not chasing as much, which is just so good for him. So honestly, I'd even give this one. I don't know if I'd give it an A+. Probably give it. You know what? I might give it an A+.
I'd give it an A minimum. I'll say.
Yeah,
that.
I was teetering between A and A+. You know what? Fuck the Yankees. I'm gonna give it an A. No, I'm kidding. But I'll give it an A.
Fuck the Yankees. I'm giving it a D-.
Give it a D-. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I'm giving it a D-. Straight into the Blue Jays for Heineman and future considerations.
He needs to be exiled to Toronto in exchange for Jesus Sanchez, and the Yankees need to pay 100% of the salary. I think that's a really good punishment for Bellinger. It's a really good punishment. But yeah, I'll give this an A. Like, he's playing out of his mind. He's playing so good right now. Next up on the list, Pete Alonso and his big old deal with the Baltimore Orioles. He has been kind of picking it up as of late, like a little bit.
I mean, what's interesting about what's interesting about a player like him is that you know what to expect for the most part. You're not expecting a high average, high on base guy. You're expecting someone who's going to be hitting around the 220-ish mark on, an average season. Obviously, we've seen that jump. An OBP 320, hitting like 35 to 40 home run.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't that crazy, the stat line we're seeing from him. It's definitely a bit low. But there have been stretches where he has shown like that he is still a very good power hitter. And back when he was with the Mets, there were stretches where it's like, oh, is he cooked now? But
yeah, this is just very typical slump.
Yes.
For this kind of player, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because when you're, it's like what we talked about Eugenio Suarez. When you're slumping as a player, a lot of times there's stuff that can make up for it. Like, for example, you could be a great defender or a great base runner, or, the home runs aren't coming, but at least you're hitting the singles. Pete Alonso is a big boomer bust guy in the sense of, if he's not hitting home runs, he's not doing a ton.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say he's useless, but his value comes from the long ball. If he's not hitting home runs, his value is definitely going to take a hit.
Yeah, even in his best years, he's not like a crazy on-base guy. He's, a first baseman, so his defensive value is inherently limited, and even then, he's not really that good of a defender at first base anyways. And, he's a negative base runner as well. So when he's not connecting on those pitches and hitting them a mile, you kind of lose a bit of value. And, to be fair, it's not like he's doing awful this year. Like, he's been an above-average hitter. He's kind of got it going as of late. He has a 129 WRC plus so far in May, versus coming into the month he had a 93 WRC plus.
Yeah.
So he's definitely picked it up a little bit. Looked a lot more like your typical Pete Alonso. Like, he's has a 283 ISO in May. But I mean, he's been like okay. But again, you paid him north of $30 million a year, not so he would just be fine. So that he could, come in here and he'd be hitting that ball. Again, this is another one where I got to say, I'm not worried. You know what I mean? Like, I look at, his profile, and it's like, it's the same kind of Pete Alonso that we've always seen. He's actually chasing a lot less this year, which I think is an interesting.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's what I noticed too, and it's funny to see that for a guy like him too.
A lot of guys I feel like are chasing less this year. I wonder, maybe I'll do this in the future. Maybe I'll when the numbers stabilize a lot more, I'll look at how many guys are chasing as opposed to last year, and I wonder how much of an effect ABS has on that. But you know what I mean? Like, his process is a little, like, it's not like spectacular compared to what it has been, but it's definitely better than it has been. You know what I mean? He's just, again, he's doing, it's like the Bellinger thing. You're not bailing them out as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's something that you really like to see out of him. So like his chase rate last year was about 1.5% lower. This is more in line of where, like, 2024 was, not far off from what it is now. I mean, before that he chased actually quite a bit, but last few years it's definitely been better. But I'd probably again give this one like a C, because him, Tucker, and Bregman have pretty much provided almost the exact same level of value. So I don't really think we should grade them that differently.
That's exactly how I feel.
You know what I mean? Tucker a little bit, meaner because of the extra money, but you know what I mean?
But also, I mean, for sure. But also at the same time, Tucker plays the outfield position.
True.
And one's a first baseman, so it's like, you're not getting any defensive value at first base for the most part, especially from Pete Alonso. Mm-hmm. Whereas Kyle Tucker, at least if he's league average defensively, that is, inherent value automatically compared to first base. So,
on some level, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give that one.
But yeah, I agree. I agree with what you said. Yeah.
All right. Kyle Schwarber, 150 M's, $150 million. Listen, last year was a career year for Kyle Schwarber, right? Posted just under 5 WAR, hit damn near 60 homers, and I know you wanted to talk about this. He is having right now the best offensive season of his career at age 33 right now. He's already at 20 homers. It's May 16th right now as we're recording this. He's at 20 homers. Did he go yard today? He might have fucking hit 21. I have no idea. But oh my god. He has been insane. This dude is ridiculous. He's so good. He has a 176 WRC plus on the season, which is not only is it a career high, it's like a good bit, past his previous career high, which, was last year's 152. Now, again, we'll see how he finishes the season. But, oh my god. He's been ridiculous. Ethan, you had a question that you wanted to ask. And, you asked me before, and you said you want to talk about it. Ask that question to everyone who's listening.
My question is, if hypothetically Schwarber does hit that 70 home run plateau, is he the MVP?
And it's a thing that we really need to think about, right? Because there is a lot of really insane seasons happening right now in the National League, right? Ellie De La Cruz is leading the NL in WAR. Matt Olson's having a terrific year. Jordan Walker's been crazy good. Max Muncy's been insane.
Yes.
All
Also,
these
before
guys.
anyone says a DH isn't going to win it, we're not going to. Let's not pretend that Shohei didn't win it in 2024.
This is true. He's right. Let's not do that, right?
Yeah.
Even on the pitching side, there's guys too, but 70
the one thing I look at is that's something that's been done twice ever. It is such a rare thing. This isn't like, it's like 50 or something where it's rare, but you see it pretty often at least. So.
Yeah. You see it often enough where it's like 50 is like, damn, like that's crazy, but it's not the most insane thing ever.
Here's what I will say though. There have been 2 instances of a player hitting 70 home runs. One of them, they won MVP. The other one, they did not. However, the one that did not was Mark McGwire, and I just really don't understand how he didn't, considering he had a 205 WRC plus to Sammy Sosa's 159, 7.1 F4 for him, and McGwire had 8.5. And I mean, Sosa, it's not even like you could make an argument like, oh, he was like hitting 350 or something, which in that time would have been way valued. It was 299 to 308 averages. I really struggled to see how Sosa won that.
It's interesting.
But that's the thing, like, do you believe in voter fatigue?
To an extent.
Do you think that if Schwarber puts up 70... Because my thing is, I don't think Ohtani's in position to win MVP right now solely because he is hitting below what he normally does. And I think that's what people will look at. It's like, okay, yeah, it's Ohtani, but he's only elite on one side of the ball right now. Are we going to reward being not elite on the other side? When obviously when we say not elite, it's still really fucking good numbers. It's just not elite.
I do raise you just how good he's been on the pitching side, though.
Yes.
Like, obviously there's more than just ERA, but his ERA is .82. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If he throws, you want to say 170 innings. Actually, he's technically not qualified now. Let's say he throws 160 innings, finishes with a .8 ERA. Let's say Shohei. Right now, he has, what is he at? Like a 123 WRC plus. Let's say he finishes at 130, right? Let's just assume that. 130 WRC plus over, a regular, season amount of plate appearances that he's, been getting. Plus 160 innings of having, let's say a 1.6 ERA. Let's even assume his ERA doubles right now, right? Let's just assume it.
Yeah.
Now, how much does that compare to Schwarber hitting 70 and having let's say a 180 WRC plus? Because Schwarber, 270, he would have to pick up his pace right now. He's on pace right now for 64 over 650 plate appearances.
I think it is worth mentioning as well the fact that this is a complete different era. This isn't where the guys are juicing as much as they were. Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, the 270 home run hitters, were notorious for being, and Sammy Sosa won MVP in the year that McGwire didn't win it when he hit 70. All known for, being guys who were juiced.
Now, to be fair,
so
was the whole league, but
yes, but the point I'm making is that
I hear you.
Yeah. If he could hit 70 in this era,
it's
day and age,
it's so much different.
That would be one of the most impressive feats from a hitter that we've seen. I just don't see how you could see. Obviously, I think it's also dependent on how the Phillies do. Because if the Phillies, let's say, take a bit of a plunge, let's say they miss the playoffs, finish below 500, which I don't think is likely, but hypothetically, obviously that would make them say, can we give that over Ohtani? Let's say the Phillies make the playoffs, I would have a hard time not giving him the MVP for 70 home run performance. Obviously, it depends on what else he does. I'm not going to, we've seen Schwarber have some very funny stat lines over his career. where he would hit like 50 home runs with like a 150 average. If he definitely just stops hitting everything that's not a home run and he finishes the year with like, you know, a 180, 190 average, maybe even just above 200 with the 70 home runs, it would obviously be harder than, let's say, if he had a 230, 240 average. It's not like he's only hitting home runs now, which if he continues this, again, I just have such a hard time giving him that MVP award if he hit 70. I mean,
not give you it.
You could count on one hand the amount of times and some.
Yes. Yeah, I think honestly, more so than how the Phillies do, I think it's more so dependent on how a lot of his, I mean, this is a really easy cop-out answer, but how a lot of his competition does, you know, how good, like, the rest of Ellie's season is, and, we can even say Ohtani.
Yeah, that's not to say this is not to say it's a two-horse race between Schwarber and Ohtani. Right? There's obviously other guys that can take it.
Because it's kind of like the Cal thing last season, right? Was how much do you value like the rarity and the uniqueness of the thing itself? But obviously, it's still really good. Versus like just strictly production, right?
My thing is though, if Cal did hit the 70 home run mark, I don't think there would have been a single person arguing he shouldn't have won MVP. Well, yes, that's kind of where I'm at as well.
Well, yes, but the whole point is, right? A lot of Cal's case, now granted, not to say that he didn't have an all-time great season. He had, one of you want to say 5 best catching seasons ever.
That's being generous, just to
like honestly, it's probably 3, but I'm just saying 5, whatever.
Yes.
A lot of the arguments you heard surrounding that case, it came down to how many switch hitting catchers have hit this, how many catchers have hit this many home runs, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, it was like judged on an overall value standpoint was a little better. Not like the craziest. It's not like it was a 3-win gap or anything. But he was. You can definitely tell he was better. But it came down to, do you value just judge a straight production and value, or do we like Cal just doing something that we haven't seen or have very rarely seen over the course of baseball history, right? And
yes,
I feel like depending on how rest of the season goes for him and other guys, obviously, assuming he did hit that mark, let's say he had, again, like we said the numbers earlier, whatever. Let's assume he has that. You know what I mean? Let's assume, because right now he's 11th in the National League in WAR, right? Now, if he hits 70 home runs, his offense is going to pick up. That number would go. It would probably realistically be like he'd be in the top 5 probably. I don't know where exactly, but he'd be in the top 5. Or at least at the bare minimum, he'd be close. Let's assume. Who do I want to throw? I'll throw Ellie De La Cruz, right? As it stands right now, Ellie De La Cruz is on pace to finish the season at 7.8 WAR, right?
Yeah.
Schwarber right now is on pace to finish the season with 5.7 WAR. Right, that's per 650. Right, let's assume that his offense ticks up, because right now his home run pace is 64 over that many plate appearances. Let's assume his offense ticks up, he reaches 70. We'll say 70 right on the nose, and he finishes. We'll up that WAR mark a little bit. You want to say 6.5 WAR? We'll just throw it out there. Maybe it'd be higher. I don't actually know. I don't really feel like doing the math right now. We'll just say 6.5 WAR, right? How much does that gap in value from Ellie to Schwarber in this scenario matter versus the fact that Schwarber just fucking hit 70 nukes for the third time in MLB, for only the third time in Major League history.
First time in 30 whatever years.
25.
Or 25, yeah, fair.
Yeah. What?
Math isn't my strong suit. That's why I do a podcast and not working like.
Exactly. If it's a slow month, you do a certain thing.
Yes, of the amateur variety.
But it's that same sort of principle as the Judge Cal thing. Does that make sense? I'm not saying it's the exact.
No, I 100% agree.
It's the same principle. Now, obviously, we have to see it in front of us to actually make that distinction. But I'm just like,
it's just it's a similar question to what we asked. Like, if Schwarber hits 500 home runs, is he a Hall of Famer, right? Like, it's similar to that question, I feel like.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you
he has
can
to have
value
win
home
every center.
runs. There's obviously other stuff that goes into it, but I don't know, 70 if he hits 70 in a season, wins MVP, then I think for sure if he hits 500, there's no way he's not a
Oh yeah,
Hall of
absolutely
Famer.
not. Like I don't know how you can leave him out
Yes.
of that point.
Like, there's no argument. Like, now, I still think if he hits 500, you can make the argument, just because this is where I don't like the WAR argument. You can't punish a DH for not having a high WAR.
Yeah, well, no, yeah,
You just can't.
Yeah, I think, and I'm pretty sure I asked this when we had that conversation back in the summer. Was like, it's better to just grade him alongside of the DHs like Ortiz and Edgar Martinez.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
you can't compare him to other guys who have hit 500 home runs. You have to compare him to other DHs who have made the Hall of Fame, because it's not fair if you're, comparing him to somebody who played, let's say, right field his whole career at a league average level, because even if it's not extraordinary defense, the value is still so much more than not playing defense at all, rather than not even just playing it poorly, but not playing it at all.
Yeah, so it's an interesting conversation to have. Now, depending on how the season turns out, if Schwarber really ticks back up, that pace improves even to what it currently is.
I mean, all it takes is 1 week for Schwarber to have, like, in like a, let's say, 6-game span to hit like 8 home runs or something, and right then and there he's back on pace for over 70.
I mean, that's pretty much what he's been doing over the past week.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
If he continues his hot streak, that pace is going to inherently just pick up, right? Like, it's just kind of going to happen. Like, today he didn't go deep, but yesterday he had 2, and the day before that he had 1.
Yeah, he sucks. He only had 1 hit today.
Since the 7th of May, the last 9 days, he's had a home run in all but 2 games. Like, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he had 5 straight games with a homer, and one of those was a multi-home run game. He had a multi-home run game yesterday. That boosted his pace like a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
And if he has another stretch like that, or if he keeps on this hot streak, obviously that home run pace is going to just go up inherently. But as it stands, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
And that reminds me, Fernando Tatis is on pace to come close to Schwarber's home run total. He's on pace for 0 right now. That's pretty close.
He's on pace to have Schwarber's home run total from today.
So, yes, he is.
And
here's the funny thing: he'd be lucky if he has his home run total, as of today, as in 20 over the season.
Right? No, dude, it's bad. I
want to see him do well so bad.
I was looking at that stuff the other day, and I'm like, there's no fucking way. Like, dude,
at this point, Chandler Simpson's gonna hit one first.
Dude, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, Chandler Simpson has a...
No, I think Chandler Simpson... I'll say it, I don't care. I think at this point in time, there might be a better chance he hits one first, just because you have the inside the park opportunity, whereas Tatis, he's not going to be hustling around the bases.
And as fast as he is, he's not Chandler Simpson fast.
No.
You know
what
I mean?
At this point in time, I don't think it's crazy to say that Chandler Simpson... I'm not saying that it will happen, but I don't think if someone would say that Chandler Simpson will record a home run...
Chandler Simpson has some crazy leg outs.
I'm not kidding. Give me the betting odds for that right now, FanDuel. I want to see them. I don't care. I want to see them.
I would love to see what that ends up. I would love to see how people... I mean, obviously, a lot of people would bet Tatis probably just because, who he is, but holy fuck, I would love to see that. Anyways, I think...
I mean, if it's good money, I mean, I feel like you gotta say, Simpson would be the smart bet, because the odds would definitely be way better in terms of you're getting more money. If you place like a $10 bet, you'd probably make, I would say, I don't know what the odds would be, but you're definitely doubling that, right? If you're betting a Chandler Simpson home run, for sure.
You know what's really funny? I saw someone before the season say that the Padres offense was like a Tatis launch angle fix away from being like crazy good again. And instead of a launch angle fix, they just straight up broke him. They straight up broke him, bro.
Oh, you want to fix the launch angle? Okay, I'm going to have him hit one pull air fly ball like 2 months into the season, okay?
Did you see the one tweet where someone was like, well, everyone's talking about Fernando Tatis Jr.'s launch angle, but if you look at Cedric Mullins, who has the highest launch angle in the league, he also sucks. And it's like, Did you see that tweet?
He does,
Dude,
but
it was like,
he
man, what
does
are we
have home
talking
runs on
about?
the
He
year.
does have home runs on the year. Everyone was replying to that tweet where it was like, man, what are you talking about? What do you
Yeah,
mean he has the high? Yeah, yeah, because he's popping up a fuck ton of balls. Like,
that's
no
not like a
shit.
good thing,
That's
I
not a good
guess.
thing. Like, no, you don't want the highest one. There's a certain level that you want to be at. You don't want to fucking.
You don't want it to be the lowest either,
Yo, I
but I
would. You
mean,
also don't. You don't want it to take ground balls. I mean, if you're
yeah,
Chandler Simpson, you get away with it, but he's not Chandler Simpson, so
no,
whatever.
but yeah, I think Schwarber, fair to say, A+
Yeah,
in the sense of
absolutely,
you
A
know
plus.
what, especially what you know you're getting. You're not expecting him to be like a speedy, good fielder, high average guy. For what he is, a home run hitter, he is giving you more than what you could ask for.
Yeah,
That's an A+.
yeah. You probably came into the season thinking that on some level last year was probably going to be the best year of his career, and so far it is this year has been the best
Yeah,
version of Kyle Schwarber. That's how it's been so far.
I thought he was gonna hit 60 last year, and because of how good he was hitting, and he's doing even better now.
He is.
It's
His
crazy.
base was over 400. Anyways, yeah,
That's psychotic.
I feel pretty good giving this one an A plus. So, move on to the
Yeah.
next guy, Ranger Suarez, signing his contract with the Red Sox. He's been really good, man. He's been so good.
Yes, I remember there were definite questions that people were raising after this was signed, and it talked about like, oh, could this be an overpayment? He had a very good year in Philly, but obviously his history will show that he can be a bit inconsistent. He could walk a lot of guys. He's definitely answered all those questions and passed the test with flying colors this early into the season.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. He's been like pretty much everything you'd expect. Like the weak contact. He's you know what I mean. He's not walking guys. Ironically, despite guys hitting a lot more balls in the air against him, he's still been extremely effective. I was really concerned about his velocity because his velocity had declined from 2023 to 2024, and then from 2024 to 2025. It had dropped like 2 miles an hour from 23 to 25, right? I was kind of concerned about that, a long-term deal for him. So far, and again, this could, we'll see how this goes. His velocity is actually up from last season and up from 2 seasons ago even. Which, again, he's not like a power pitcher, but that matters. Even if you're not a power pitcher, that matters. Right?
yeah.
Which is, like, for him, it's been really good to see. He's been business as usual. He's been doing everything you expect him to do. Not walking guys. Balls are staying in the yard. You know what I mean? Soft contact. All of that. He's been doing exactly what you'd expect.
I don't know if the WBC helped him kind of get into gear quicker, but whatever it is, I mean, it definitely worked.
Yeah, like, he's just been killing it. He's been killing the game this season. He's been everything that the Red Sox could have possibly hoped for. Because, again, you look at the rotation last season versus coming into this season. You have Crochet at the 1. You're throwing in Suarez right behind him, Sonny Gray, all that. Ranger Suarez is looking like there's unironically a good chance that he ends up being the best pitcher for the Red Sox this season. And this is like assuming that Crochet comes back and he is who you would expect him to be once he comes off the injured list. Ranger Suarez has just been that good. It's just been that good. So, I kind of struggle to see a reason why I should give him anything less than an A.
Exactly, same here. Although we did say Cease was an A+, so I don't think that it's that insane to say A+, but I will stick with A.
I'll say A+ just because I think there's a bit of a gap in how good Cease and Suarez have been, even if they've both been elite. I'll give Cease the A+, I'll give Suarez the A.
But it's also because of the contract, which is why I'm saying it, because when you compare the contract,
True. Well, the contracts are kind of similar, I think, right? Like,
I think it's.
I think A.
Yeah,
I mean, A, man, there's nothing wrong with an A. Nothing wrong with A.
No,
A still means you're killing the game.
Yeah.
So, ain't no problem with that. Next up on the list, we have Bo Bichette. Oh,
A+.
Man.
I think that's an easy A+ now.
Yeah, honestly, like he's been incredible. You know what I mean?
I mean, Bo Bichette, one of my favorite players ever. Honestly, I'll say it. I don't care. This hurts to see.
It does,
He
man.
is playing like he was when he was very obviously hurt, but somehow worse than that.
Yeah, like Bo Bichette has always had his issues, right? He's always had problems with with the chase. The defense has been an issue throughout his career. Ironically, he's actually been like a pretty solid defender this year, which I think is kind of crazy. Um, with all these kinds of things. 2024, he looked, dude, I could not watch him that year. He was unbearable to watch that year. This season,
Yeah.
it looks like a lot of the same. It's now on some level, there's a little bit of bad luck because again, he's underperforming his ex-Wobo by like 70 points, but it's also not like he's playing particularly like good either. It's not one of those things where it's like, yeah, the process is good, the results will come. No, his process sucks, man. His process stinks.
It always has.
Yeah, like
And he made it work in spite of that, so when it's not working, it makes it look way worse than it is because that's another thing. Processes are so important in
Yes.
baseball more than any other sport, but at the same time, if you don't have a great process but it consistently works, whatever, sure.
Yeah, at the
But
end
when
of the day,
it's not working,
yeah.
it's gonna make it look that much worse because of that.
Mm-hmm. And things like parts of his process are even worse than they have been. Like again, Bichette's always been a guy sprays to all fields and whatever, right? So I'm not gonna say like he's pulling the ball less in the air, which again he's never done in his career that like frequently. But when you have a drop of almost, actually, I'm pretty sure, yeah, a drop of 7% from 13.2 to 6.2. You're capping your power. You're hitting more balls on the ground, right? Bo Bichette is at his best when he's spraying the ball everywhere, right? Now that does mean you're hitting it to center, you're hitting it to right, and you're hitting it to left field. Not you don't fucking hit it to left field at all.
Yeah, and really what's interesting as well is the fact that these numbers are way more worrying. I can't speak. Worrying in a season in which he more so than the season in which he was very clearly injured. So I don't know if there's an injury that's not disclosed, if it's still the lingering injuries from the grueling playoff run that he endured with having to battle through the injuries, coming back, and obviously playing while he was far from 100% and still delivering. It really makes you think, what's different now? Is he just even more hurt? Did playing all those games down the stretch when he wasn't 100 take a toll, and that's just kind of what's gonna happen? Like I don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah, like in any of the Mets games I've watched this season, and keep in mind this is someone who was watching Bo Bichette for like a good 7 years before the season, right? Like I watched him pretty regularly. Like Ethan, we have a good idea of how this goes. Dude, he's unbearable to watch right now. I see.
Even when he's playing well, there are times where it's hard to watch.
Like
he's doing that all the time right now.
And even when he was with Toronto, I've been pretty critical of him, but also I can be like, like he's still a really fucking good player. Even if at times he's kind of frustrating. I've always said that. Like even when Bo Bichette's good, he can still be a little bit of a frustrating player. Because he'll just do, like, stupid shit sometimes. He'll swing at a really stupid pitch, or he'll fucking just airmail.
Remember the one against the Orioles?
Oh, dude, that pissed me off so bad when I saw that. Holy shit.
I crashed out so hard. I thought that was going to be, like, the downfall of the season. I thought that was it right there. Like, the season was not going.
I was cheesed.
We were done.
I was so cheesed when
I was, too.
I was heated, man. But, yeah, like, it's so much worse this year than anything I've seen from him. Like, it's bad right now, man. He just looks so... He looks almost completely overmatched. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's tough. It's a tough watch, man. It's bad. So, I'm gonna have to... Listen, it's gonna pain us to say it, but I'm going to have to give this one an F, man. Like, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's terrible right now. And I'm sure
in the words of a
former... Fuck, man.
Yeah, in the words of a former team legend...
It's not the Tri-League.
Well, it's not the Tri-League, it's the Get It Done League.
Get It Done League.
Also a fun podcast.
Shout out the Get It Done League podcast. I didn't actually know that was a podcast until I go. I'd see the clips of like Russell Martin on the thing. I thought he was.
I love it. Yeah, it's a fun thing to just kind of listen to and watch. It's just It's cool. It's, one of those childhood players. But yeah,
I
I
think
mean, that's the thing.
I think the combination of the three is also really funny.
Yeah, but Bo Bichette, it's great. Keep trying to get things done, but you actually have to get it done at some point.
Yeah, this is correct. At a certain point, you do have to. It is the get it done league, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, we say process really important, which
Which it is.
the try league
Because good results
way.
typically come from good processes.
Exactly.
That's just how it
But
works.
yeah, the good, if you're not getting results, you're not going to win games, right? And you're not going to provide
Right.
value. So it is what it is. Next up, we got Framber Valdez. Another one of those short-term, high AAV deals. 3 years, 115. He's been just okay this season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Admittedly, he started off terrible.
Yes.
Right. Or in May he's been terrible. First month of the season he was, pretty much as you'd expect from Framber Valdez. But
yeah,
recently,
it's definitely troubling, especially when
last few starts in a row.
A big reason, in my opinion, they went out to get Framber is because obviously you don't know what the future holds for Skubal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's somebody that you just bring in because you want to bolster that rotation and maybe, convince him to stay. Like, look, we're rebuilding around you. Or it's like, okay, this is going to be our guy if you leave. I don't know exactly what the thought process is, but right now, the way it's looking, Framber's pitching not great. Skubal's hurt. Their rotation is in shambles right now.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, his numbers are somewhat inflated because he's had 2 terrible starts. He had a start against Minnesota where he gave up 8, and then he had that terrible start against the Red Sox. Outside of that, he's actually been kind of what you'd expect.
Yeah.
But are we just gonna regularly have these crazy blow up starts?
That's the thing, because if this is a one-off, it happened once and then it happens again maybe 2 or 3 months later, whatever, but if it's happening every couple starts, that's more troubling to me, and that's kind of opens my eyes, because that in any outing, which is true for any player in any sport, but in any outing, that there's a chance he could kind of just implode like he's done already this year. And for a team that's trying to win their division and, go on a playoff run, that's just, you can't have that happening when it matters. So hopefully for them, this is something that they can get out of the way now, something they can fix, something that's just kind of, maybe it's just a culture shock a bit, going to a different team, different city. So I don't know exactly, but...
Because the way it's been with Framber is, he's done one or two things. He's looked like, your regular Framber Valdez that we've been, accustomed to seeing over the last however many years, or he's had these ridiculous blow-up starts. Now, again, he's only had 2 of these really terrible starts compared to the rest, which have been actually pretty solid. But, at the same time, when it's a difference of, he's either completely on his game or he's completely blowing up. He hasn't had any of those starts yet. And again, I'm saying this because every pitcher has them. He's gonna have them this season. Everybody does. Those starts where, you don't completely implode, but you don't really have your best stuff, and you're kind of, whether you're fighting your command or whatever it is, you don't, your one pitch isn't moving the way it should be, whatever it is. And, it's those outings where, you go through 5, you give up 4 runs, 3 runs, whatever it is, more base runners than you want, those kinds of outings, right?
Yeah.
He isn't even having those outings right now, and they're going to come, right? Every pitcher has these outings. This is not, you know what I mean? It's just going to happen. It's just part of the sport.
It's not like he's the only pitcher in baseball that is going through.
Every pitcher who has ever thrown a pitch has
every athlete ever who's played sports
has those games.
What a slump is. Yes.
Yeah, and he's going to have those games too. And you mix those in with, the way the starts have been going so far, it's not super great. Now, so far, it's been fine, I guess. Probably if I had to give it a grade, I'd probably give it a C+ right now. Just because admittedly the numbers are a little bit inflated. But also, how much are we going to be doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's where I'll give it. I'll give it a C+. I'll give it a C+, because, the numbers aren't great. If the numbers are on its own, are just kind of okay, but also I can sit here and be those are a little bit inflated.
Yeah.
So, see how that is. I'll give it a C+. So
Yeah, I think C plus is fair. Also, the thing with a guy like Framber compared to other guys as well is that we know what to expect, so it also makes the struggles a bit less troubling as to a guy like, I don't know, Bo Bichette, who his processes have always been unconventional, for lack of a better term.
even his
I think
slumps
there's
are not a month and a half of an OPS starting with a
right,
5.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Slumps have never
It
been.
could always be worse. It could start with a 4.
Could always be. Anyways, let's move
That's
on.
what. That's what's great. That's you know what I'll say. Here's a little like life, I guess, life advice or life, words of wisdom. It could always be worse. It
Listen,
can.
think about it like this,
Be
right?
grateful.
Life is like a 7-game series, right? Or every week is like a 7-game series, right? You
Exactly.
just gotta win 4. You gotta win 4, right?
And guess what? Friday, Saturday, Sundays are almost as easy as they get to get your wins.
Oh, absolutely.
So
That's
in
like home.
reality,
That's
you
like
just gotta win. That's literally like basically like home field advantage right there.
like a lot of
As
the
long
time.
as you steal one on the road Monday to Thursday, then you're setting yourself up for an incredible series.
Exactly. Like, Mondays are usually a little bit rough. You know what I mean? It's a little tougher usually on a Monday.
Yeah, you
You're
lose that.
probably gonna drop the Monday game. It is what it is. Monday's a tough opponent. Tuesday, I think it's a pretty gettable game actually. Pretty gettable. You just get one out of those.
Wednesday might be the easiest of those first couple games.
Honestly, yeah.
I think Thursday's a tough one. Will always be strong because like you're so close to getting back home to take this series, control the series, but you're also so far
people
because
can press a little bit too much on a Thursday.
yeah.
So it makes that game a little bit tougher. I feel like the Tuesday, Wednesday. If you can get one out of those 3, if you can get 2, you're golden. Because there's no way you're dropping 2 out of 3 on a weekend.
And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you got your ace, your number 2, your number 3 on the mound, and it's just you have such a stack rotation that it's like your number 3 is just as good as a number 1 for the most part. So
absolutely.
you're feeling it.
Absolutely, you're not dropping 2 out of 3 on the weekend.
No,
there's no way. Here and there, you might lose the odd one, out of the 3.
You do, but the thing is,
everyone
you
loses.
Can't win the championship every year.
Exactly,
you just can't.
And listen, everyone loses some games here and there. Listen, in order for them to
it's all about the takeaways.
In order for them to talk about Game 7, you got to lose 3 first.
Here's the thing. You know why losing is a good thing at times? It's a learning moment.
It is.
You can't feel the highs without feeling the lows.
It is. This is true.
And if you have a bad series, a bad week, you know what you got to do? You know what the mindset going to the next one is?
Bounce back.
It happens. It's not about what happens. It's what you do after it happens. You got to get the next one.
We go, all right.
Exactly.
Listen, I didn't have my best stuff this game. I was chasing too many pitches. I was doing whatever it was, right? Got to come back. Got to get the next game. Simple.
Exactly. So I'm going to start using XWOBA in real life situations, I think.
Yeah, in this situation, this situation right
just
here.
Just use baseball stats as a whole. Like, someone has a rough day, it's like, oh, it'll get better. I mean, your XWOBA was high. You just didn't get them to bounce your way.
Listen, she said no, that's fine. That's a good hit. That's like a 750.
Yeah, that's yeah, exactly.
So you're good. You keep doing that. You keep putting that swing on the ball. You're gonna it's gonna fall. It's gonna find gaps. It's gonna find holes. You're gonna get in there. You know what I mean? You're gonna be on base. You're gonna be running some pretty good numbers by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we're good to move on here. Josh Naylor and his $92.5 million deal with the Mariners. He got off to a terrible start.
I watched him in the World Baseball Classic, and if I was a Mariners fan watching that, I would have been excited because it's like, perfect. He can't get worse than this. Oh, would they have been surprised after what he did to start the year?
He got it out of the way, and it carried on into the early part of the season. He was terrible. With all due respect,
he is obviously putting up solid numbers now. I mean, when you look at what he did in the first couple weeks of the season, and then you saw his stats now, it's like, holy shit. There's no way it's the same player.
At a certain point, it was like him and Bo Bichette were pretty close in terms of what they were doing. Now Naylor has since bounced back a little bit. His numbers overall for April and March still don't look very good. But overall, in May right now, he has a 128 WRC plus through the month. He's hitting 316 in May. He's bouncing back, you know what I mean? This is a lot more in line from what we'd expect from Josh Naylor. You know what I mean? overall for the season,
Yeah.
his numbers look like, a 96 WRC plus, .2 F4, which are not good numbers by any means, but I can also sit here and be like, yeah, you know what? That was a really bad first, 2, 3, whatever weeks of the season. He has very obviously since bounced back, right? Because I remember seeing those numbers when they were getting posted, and his point is negative fucking .5 war, whatever it was, .4, whatever the fuck, versus what it is now, and I can say, yeah, so far it's already getting better. It's going to continue to get better. However, overall, though, it still has not been perfect, right? So realistically, what do I want to say? Maybe I'm leaning between a C or a C minus maybe.
Yeah, I
but
think
with the knowledge
I'd
that
say
it's going to improve,
That's why I'm gonna say C plus. That plus signifies that he's seen a drastic improvement in his game, and I don't expect it to go much worse. I don't expect him to go back to that the rest of the way. The plus for me is the optimism in that he will continue what he has been doing very recently, rather than what he did to start the year.
Yeah, sure. You know what? Yeah, I won't give it a C minus. I'll just give it just a flat C. You know what? You've been all right.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's been okay. It could be better. It could be worse. But we are at the end of the
We're
day.
doing the top. Yeah, we're doing the top 15. You said, right?
Yeah, we're doing the top 15. We're gonna stop at Ranger Suarez. That's gonna be the next. That's gonna be the one we stop at.
You mean Robert?
I said Robert. Yeah, I don't know why I said Ranger.
Okay.
All right. Next up on here, we got Michael King. He's been so good. He's been incredible.
Yeah, and this was the one guy who I kept saying in the offseason, oh, the Orioles need a starter, go after him. This is who the Orioles need to go after. They need to grab him. He's the guy. He's the guy.
They were linked to him.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah, they were linked to him. I think the Yankees were linked to him at a certain point. I think even the Mets were linked to him at a certain point. Obviously, the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I remember you need a starting pitcher. This is the guy that you'd want to target because
everyone that needed a starter was linked to Michael King, it felt like. That's what it felt like during the offseason. And,
yes.
He signed 3 years, $75 million, which, to me felt a little bit much. But, he's proving it worth so far. He's having an incredible season.
The thing with baseball is it's hard for me to find a short-term deal that's necessarily, catastrophically an overpayment.
Yeah, it's kind of tough at the end of the day to find that because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, if Michael King was, bad in the third year, so great. It's the last year.
And last year was definitely an interesting one for him. It wasn't a bad year, but his numbers were definitely way more inflated than they typically are. It gave up way more home runs than he did, but now he's got everything.
Coming off the injury,
right? Exactly. He wasn't 100%, and he wasn't pitching a full season. So obviously those numbers weren't really worrying, and honestly, if anything, it tells you that okay, when he's healthy, he's going to be back to where he was.
Yeah.
And yeah, what we're seeing from him, this is an easy A.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Very, very easy A. He hasn't been top level starting pitcher this season, which I don't think you were expecting out of Michael King anyways for him to be one of the top starters in the league. But he's been great. He's been great.
Yeah.
I don't
would like to see, his strikeout numbers get a bit, higher, because, that's kind of what makes him...
I would actually hope his walk numbers go down a little bit, because the walk numbers...
That too, yes. That's
iffy,
definitely more...
But as it stands right now, he's been
great.
So this is pretty easy A for me.
Yeah.
Edwin Diaz, the cockfighter himself.
Oh.
Oof, this one has
been... Alright, so if we're talking about cockfighting, I think that's an easy A+.
Very easy A+, strictly in terms of moments that he's given us this season. The cockfighting, who does cockfighting?
Yeah, I mean...
who does
it's...
You know what I mean?
I thought it was pretty crazy that you had guys betting against their own pitches, but, clearly we haven't seen anything yet.
That too, I guess. It's been a rough start. He actually had an incredible first 5 or so outings of the season, first week and a bit, 2 weeks. He looked like regular old Edwin Diaz that we've been used to seeing. And then he has these back-to-back implosions, and it's what's going on? Is he injured? And then boom, he goes on the IL, has loose bodies removed from his elbow. Which, by the way, actually, I wanna ask this: does it feel like that's happening so much more this season? This very specific injury. the loose bodies in the elbow, because Edwin Diaz had the surgery for it. Tarek Skubal had the surgery for it right before we started recording this, like probably like 5 minutes before we got on here. Blake Snell got put on the IL, and they found like that was like he has that same problem, so he has to get surgery. I don't remember seeing this like almost ever before this season.
No.
Or maybe I'm just like not remembering stuff, which is also very possible, but I don't remember ever seeing this like before, or like almost ever. Maybe very rarely. But yeah, man, it's tough. So he's gonna be out at least till like the All-Star break, is what they're saying. Like, ideal scenario is a return in like early in the second half is an ideal scenario for them. But even before he went down, like he had a few out, like he had some really good outings, but then he had those stinkers right before he got put in the IL. But overall, it's not pretty right now. Like, this is the negative WAR player we're talking about right now. Now, again, WAR for pitchers, relievers, But at the same time, it is what it is. Yeah. The results are what the results are. And so, it has been pretty. And then plus the injury, also not good. So, I'm teetering between two things here. Because honestly, so far it's kind of been an F. Or do I say D-?
Because he's hurt right now and it's the Dodgers and they have fuck you money, I'll say D, just because it's like, well, let's see what happens when he comes back from injury. Injuries are one thing that's really hard to gauge because you just don't fully know.
True.
I feel like an F should be reserved for a guy like Bo Bichette, who is currently playing at that level.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, no, you're right. I'll go D- because again, F is like Bo Bichette has been playing terrible for like a month and a half. To be fair to Edwin Diaz, he's been injured. You know what I mean? We'll see what he is when he comes back. Also, complete side note, Tarek, you seen that apparently Skubal's already throwing and he had surgery like last week?
Yes.
Like, that's crazy. These recoveries going ridiculous.
He wants his money. You gotta respect it.
Hey,
he wants his contract.
Hey, can't knock the hustle, man. Can't knock it.
Cannot.
See,
maybe he should start cockfighting.
Listen, we'll see. Maybe it'll help him. All right. Next up, we have Devin Williams. Oh, this is another one that is not going very well right now.
So Devin Williams, believe it or not, is one of the relief pitchers in baseball this year.
Hey, he just got a save like a couple minutes ago. Just closed out the Yankees.
Yeah.
Scoreless outing. But yeah, it's been a little rough. However, don't look now. But he has not allowed a run in May. Don't look.
Yeah, I'm not super worried in Devin Williams because the second half in the postseason last year, he really turned it up and he looked like himself again. And this year, it's hard to look at something that the Mets are doing and find a bright spot. So it's hard to just kind of say that he's been a full disappointment when the entire team has. Not to say that he's been pitching incredibly, but
yeah, like
it's definitely harder to say like.
There's been a
you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's, to a certain extent, he just isn't pitching well, right? Like, he's not getting nearly the ground balls that he has, been getting throughout his career. His walk rate is still kind of a problem this year. But also at the same time, I can look at this and I can say, like, this is the true talent. And even, like, I'm strictly just saying on how he's been pitching this year. This is still a really fucking good pitcher. However, I can also say at the same time, he just has not been good. Right? However you want to slice it, like, he's still getting a lot of strikeouts, he's getting guys to chase, getting guys to whiff, whatever. He just still also hasn't been that good, right? Like, he's had some pretty bad blown games so far. Like, it's been rough. Also, his fastball velocity is, like, down a little bit this year, which is not ideal. Not, like, a crazy amount, but, like, enough to be like, I'm gonna look at that. Like, I think he will turn around because I just think he is that good, but, like, I'd be lying to you if I had been like, yeah, this is like a B or anything even close to that. Like, it's been a rough go for Devin Williams, and honestly, for a lot of the Mets, it's been a rough go. But, for Devo, it's been tough. It's been a really tough one for him. so far this season. I've been, you know what I mean? It's been rough. Simply put, it's been really rough for him. I'm gonna give this one probably like, again, like a
D plus.
D plus. Like, because, like, yeah, there's certain parts of his process which are still really good. Again, the strikeouts and all that, but, like, he's walking more guys. Like, still a lot of similar problems. So we'll see. Again, I think he'll be fine. But, objectively speaking, he has not provided much value at all. So I'm going to go D plus for him right there.
Yeah.
You said also D plus, right?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, JT Realmuto. You know, when this contract got signed, I think we were both like, what? Like, you did not have to give him this much money.
No, I mean, it's the meme of, like, ain't nobody taking it from you.
Yeah, like, no, I promise you, nobody was going to get into a bidding war over this. And I mean, listen, we said this when the contract got signed. We were like, who were you bidding against?
Yeah.
I'm sure that Realmuto had suitors, but I don't think any of them were thinking about giving him $40 million, let alone 45. Like, I'd be shocked if, again, like we mentioned the Padres as a suitor for him, right? I doubt that they were getting ready to give him even $30 million. I'd be shocked if I hit up AJ Preller and I said, what would have been your offer to JT Realmuto? And he said anything over 2 years, $20 million, I would have been shocked. I would have been flabbergasted. My flabbers would have been gasted. Right? You did not need to give him this much money. And surprise, surprise, he also just hasn't been that good this season. You know what I mean? Now, he hasn't had all the catching duties this season, right? Like, he's played 27 games out of the Phillies 46, but I feel like that doesn't really help his case. Like, that, I think that actually makes his case worse. Or am I bugging?
Yeah. Right? No, I think
Like, he's just not, like, this is the worst that he's looked. Like, probably in his entire career. And I mean, again, like, he's 35. Like, I can't really say I'm that surprised. But at the end of the day, like, you gave him the money, right? Like, the contract versus the value he's providing is still a thing, regardless of the age. He just hasn't been good. His OPS right now starts with a 5. It starts with a 5. Yeah. And listen, as we say, it could be worse. It could start with a 4, but it starts with a 5. It starts with a 5. That's terrible. Right? And it's not even like he's been, like, crazy good defensively either. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
He's been, like, he's been a real, like, he's been, like, a good defensive catcher, but he hasn't been, like, top level. Like, you know what I mean? Like, platinum glove level defensive player to the point where it just doesn't matter. Like, kind of what, you know, Patrick Bailey's been for the past however many years. Hasn't been that.
Yeah.
Simply put, just has not been.
Yeah.
Again, I'll give this one like a D plus.
Same here.
I don't like that.
I mean, his defense makes it a D plus. If it wasn't for his defense this year, it would definitely be a D minus probably.
Yeah, like his defense is single-handedly giving him that much value. All right, so now we're gonna finish it off. This is our last one, the 15th biggest contract of the offseason. Robert Suarez for the Atlanta Braves. This guy has been absolutely incredible.
Yes, he has. And this Braves team has been firing on all cylinders. There's no, like, true weakness right now with that team other than probably the ability to stay healthy because their players are all playing so good that that's the only thing that it looks like is going bad is that if some of their guys get hurt.
And even so, like, they have some, you know, like, Acuna's on the injured list right now. It's not like, you know what I mean, they just have everybody's perfect and everybody's healthy, you know what I mean? Like, they have some guys that are, like, you know, you could probably like Spencer Schwellenbach isn't even throwing yet, right? Like, he's not gonna, like, he probably isn't gonna return until the second half of the season. He was really fucking good for you last year. Sean Murphy, You know what I mean? He's on the injured list. Like, again, obviously Acuna's the big one, but you have some important players who are just not playing because they're injured.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fucking matter because everybody else is absolutely killing the game. You know what I mean? Matt Olson, Ozzy Albies, all these guys. Even like Austin Riley's like underperforming like a motherfucker, and you're still just killing the game. But Robert Suarez is one of the biggest examples of just how good the Braves have been. Over 19 appearances this season, he's pitched 19 in the third innings. His earned run average is 0.47. He's carrying a FIP of 175. Striking out 8.84 batters per 9 innings. His walks per 9 is the best it's ever been at the major league level. It is less than 2. It is 1.86. Has not allowed a home run this season. He's been so good. He's been incredible. Oh, yeah. I do not think that you could have possibly imagined him pitching this good, right?
No, and that's why this is the easiest A+ on our list.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is a very easy A+. Like, he's been ridiculous.
I'll go one step further. I'll just say S tier. This is so far the best valued contract in the sense of what you're getting. You're getting a guy who's been an elite pitcher this year for, you know, a price that's not that insane.
Yeah.
15 a year. Like, that's really not bad at all.
For this and you're level getting of production, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, he's been one of the best relievers in the whole league this year, which, again, obviously you expect him to be really fucking good because that's just who he's been, you know, the past few seasons. But this is a whole other level, right? And, you know, he's gotten more save opportunities since Raisel Iglesias. Since Raisel was, when he was on the injured list, like, before he came back, so he had a few more save opportunities there, and he was still killing it. And then even as a setup man again, he's still fucking killing it. Like, he's just still, he's been incredible. He's getting more ground balls this year too. Like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. A+, yes, easy A+. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
All right. Unless there's anything else that you feel is pressing that you want to talk about.
No, I think we covered it.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us today. As always, everybody, thank you so much for listening, watching, no matter, you know, on what extent you did listen or watch or anything, couple minutes or the whole thing. It all means the same. It all means the same. It's all you're here, no matter what, right? So we appreciate it in any capacity. It doesn't matter what it is. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys again next week. We hope everyone continues enjoying the baseball that's being played. We hope you enjoy either your favorite team killing it or you know crashing out because your favorite team's underperforming. No matter what it is, listen. Y'all got it. Y'all got it, man.
Hey, you want us to crash out on your behalf? Let us know what team you like, and when we'll do it for you.
We could do that.
I'll always take an excuse to crash out.
Oh, absolutely. We've had. We don't really crash out. We had like one time in September where the Blues were playing terrible, where we kind of had like a mini crash out on the pod, near the start.
Yeah, and if you want to hear some more of my just groundbreaking analysis, you know, analogies and my incredible math skills, I mean, just hit me with what you got because. You know, I'm ready to show what I got, and
absolutely, this guy's got it.
You will, ready. Yeah. I mean, you ask me any question, and you'll get an answer. Is it the right one?
There will be an
You'll
answer.
Get an answer. You will get an answer.
The question.
I promise you. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, anyways, thank you so much for sticking with us. We will see y'all next week, everyone. Bye bye.